To get underway. The Buffalo Bills will be kicking off to the Miami Dolphins. That means Joe Donella is out for the Bills, and dropping back for the Miami Dolphins, Vince Heflin. There he is, number 88 in his third year. Once cut by the Dolphins as a rookie, but he is back returning now because Joe Carter has a sore shoulder, and they would like to use Joe Carter, the rookie from Alabama, as a running back tonight. So he'll get a breather on the special teams. We're underway from Buffalo, the Bills and the Dolphins. And Vince Heflin right at the goal line. He'll bring it out. And not far to the 8-yard line. And already you get a feeling that this Buffalo Bill team is charged up. They love to play the Dolphins. They've had a bit of rivalry. As we look at head coach Don Shula sending everyone's Rookie of the Year into the lineup, Dan Marino, second year out of Pittsburgh. In his first two games, a little over 67% completion, 7 touchdowns. He got 5 of them against Washington. As you can see, missing is Andre Franklin, out for the season with a knee problem. The wide receivers, well, they're dynamite. Mark Duper, number 85, and Mark Clayton. Set to go. First down and 10. Marino. The handoff. What a violent collision as this Bills team is really fired up. That's Tony Nathan, who was dumped for a loss. Defensively, we'll see mostly a 3-4. They'll go to a 4-down front on the pass. And a secondary that has been decimated by injuries. Of course, they traded one of the better ones, Mario Clark, out to the 49ers, but they lost 2 left cornerbacks last week, Rod Hill and Rod Bellinger. So over on the left side is Gary Thompson, a 2-year free agent. Tony Nathan, single setback. The second down and long 12. That's Jim Jensen in motion. And Marino is back. At the time, gets it to Jensen, who is rapidly becoming a cult hero down in the Miami area. He works out, trains for a little bit of everything, wide receiver, quarterback, special teams. He even works out snapping on punts. So he is a very special player to the Miami Dolphins. He can do so many things. He comes up short of the first down, and it will be third and about 4.5, and that should leave Marino in a passing situation. However, he is deep in his own territory at the 15. But the third wide receiver is in for Miami, Jimmy Cephalo, joining Mark Clayton and Mark Duper. They'll move out of this set from the shotgun. The 2 backs check for the blitz, and then they're in the pattern, and over the middle, and it goes to Joe Rose, and he is the tight end they like to bring in and get the ball to. He is one of the better tight ends as a receiver. Shula uses 3 of them, and while none of them have tremendous statistics over the year, last year Shula's 3 tight ends caught 75 balls between them. And there he is, 4th winningest coach of all time in his 22nd season. Been to 5 Super Bowls, 4 with Miami, 1 with Baltimore, won a couple of them. Remember his great teams of the early 70s. Woody Bennett now, the single setback, he wears number 34. And Marino is back once again. As a man open, and it's Dan Johnson, the tight end, and Dan Johnson into Buffalo territory, and already, O.J., they're working over that secondary.
Yes, and the Buffalo Bills on the first completed pass was able to put a pretty decent pass rush on them. The Bills have been humiliated as we look at this replay. He gets protection here. The back just runs an excellent pattern right here. Dan Johnson, he's wide open in the secondary, as we said. They've had a lot of injuries, and they're just going to have to tighten up a little bit.
The Miami Dolphins in 2 games have not given up a sack. They have not fumbled the football. They protect their quarterback very well. They did it with San Francisco, the best in the league, a year ago. This is Woody Bennett, right side, and gets a little bit of a block from Roy Foster that opens a little bit of a hole for him, and he explodes there for about 4 yards before Haslett makes the stop for Buffalo.
Well, Miami is moving the ball, obviously successful right now, but the Bills' strategy on defense coming into this game was they weren't going to get hurt by Miami's running game. Of course, Miami doesn't have much of a running game, but their plan was to take the running game away early and actually force Marino to throw the ball, and you could be asking to, it's like putting a blindfold on for that.
Second down and 6. Nathan is a single setback. That's Jensen in motion. Nathan staying on his feet, working well, down close to another Miami first down. And while Nathan certainly is not the Andre Franklin type runner, he is a good receiver out of the backfield. He'll get you tough yardage, as you just saw there. And Woody Bennett is not Andre Franklin also? And the concern about Woody Bennett is his proclivity for the injury over the past few years. He's had several of them, and I'm sure that Don Shula, every time he carries the ball, wonders if he's going to lose yet another running back. We will get the measurement. Nathan very close to the first. And another Miami first down. Our referee tonight is Bob Frederick. Red Stadium holds some 80,000. And while it's not full, there is a sizable crowd of some 65 or 66,000, we would guess. Kay Stevenson, now in his second year, used to quarterback this team. I guess he quarterbacked for you, didn't he, O.J., for a few games?
Yes, when I first came into the league, he was one of our many quarterbacks. Jack Kemp was and Jim Harris were our main two.
Went on and was assistant under Chuck Knox, and then took over the job a year ago when Chuck Knox went to Seattle. On first down and 10, Nathan left side. Foster's out in front, but he is tripped up. Good defensive play. That's by Gene Marv, who has been the leading tackler for this defensive unit since moving to the inside linebacker spot as a starter a year ago.
Yes, he did a good job last year. He had over 200 tackles, and he had to because their top linebacker, Jim Haslett, he's only played in about 11 games in the last 2 years, and he's been pretty much the leader of this defense, and it was good to see him get in on a play real early in the game. On the first play, he's the guy that came through and stopped Nathan.
Right at the line of scrimmage, so it'll be second down and 10. We go back to the single setback of Woody Bennett. Jensen is in there with Clayton and Duper. They are the wide receivers. Marino gets the ball to Duper. And Duper with that quick speed, and boy, he has the speed, O.J. He is a world-class sprinter type speed.
Yes, he was a member of a relay team that was NCAA champs, and you'll see as we look at this isolation on him, he's number 85 there. He doesn't even make a move on the defensive back. He's just got too much speed for the linebacker. That's Lucius Sanford trying to cover him, and he just ran away from him.
That's the 11th reception for young Mark Duper. Interesting, both wide receivers are 5'9", Duper and Clayton. Yet they are deadly. They have great speed. Duper, of course, a little faster than Clayton. Inside handoff, and is Nathan and Steve Freeman, who is a devastating tackle there from the secondary, is up there to help make the stop, but is right at the line of scrimmage, so Miami will look over long yardage once again.
It's interesting to see that Miami can't run the ball as well as they had been in the past. I think one of the problems may be that they've added a few new people on the line. Of course, Cooch is hurt. They had Roy Foster in there, and Foster can run. He can get outside, but I don't think he can make that inside block as well as Cooch did.
Oh, they had struggled in the running game, O.J., averaging about 2.7 against Washington, 2.9 last week. Marino, and he has to hurry it as he is under terrific pressure from Ben Williams, perhaps the best of the pass rushers and a former Pro Bowler for Buffalo, and now Miami will have a third down and long.
Well, that's another good sign for the Bills because, as we said, they didn't have much of a pass rush in the past, and they have 2 sacks this year, and both of those are by linebackers blitzing or the strong safety blitzing, and that's an encouraging sign for their defense.
They bring in Joe Rose at tight end, Clayton, Cephalo, and Duper. 3 wide receivers, and Rose, a good receiver. There he is, number 80, bottom of your screen. He can get open also. Flag is down. Another flag is down, and Marino chased out of the pocket, scrambling for the safety of the sidelines. I don't think we're going to see a lot of running on the part of Marino, but he has one of the quick deliveries you're going to see. Bob Frederick sorting it out. First flag of the night. Here's the call. And it's procedure against Miami. So the Dolphins.
False start. Number 64 in the offense.
Pro Bowler Ed Newman on the right side, moving a little quickly.
Well, once again, it's a good drive by the Dolphins, but if the Bills can keep them out of the end zone, it's going to be encouraging for them because the last 2 weeks they were down 17 points and 20 points in the first quarter before they knew what happened, and they were immediately out of their game plan.
Bills took that penalty. They want it back, a possible field goal attempt from move of Von Schaumann back. Marino snaps one off to Cephalo. And that's what I'm talking about, that delivery. He does not use a lot of arm. It's sort of a snapping motion, and he gets it there so quickly. In the Washington game, they just could not quite figure out how he was getting set so quickly and releasing the ball, and he wound up throwing 5 touchdowns in that game.
And you watch him, if you watch Miami closely, you're going to see they're going to complete more passes on Charles Roan, number 26 of the Buffalo Bills side of the field. That's because Gary Thompson, number 24 of the Bills, is playing the other side. He's inexperienced, and the Bills are going to try to protect him by rotating to his side. So they're going to have to throw the Roan side tonight.
36-yard attempt. That's Don Strock who put it down on a 4th down and 3. Gets it down. Von Schamann off to the right, and a more than 5-minute drive goes for nothing. And a little flare of tempers. Quick right hook, and things will calm down. Don Shula's team is not a demonstrative team. The fewest penalties over the last 8 seasons. That's remarkable. Last year, this is Greg Bell, the rookie from Notre Dame. And let's take a look at the rest of the offense. But right now we have a flag. We'll get this sorted out. We'll run down the Bills offense for you. And they'll begin in a little deeper trouble. There is Joe Ferguson in his 12th year. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, a great game. Career best against Miami in their second meeting of a year ago. Principal thing is he threw 5 touchdown passes. The rookie, Greg Bell, out of Notre Dame. Booker Moore in there at setback. A lot of names that are missing.
Offensive holding, number 72. Replay of the first down.
Ken Jones holding a left tackle. But a lot of familiar names are missing. Principally Joe Cribbs, who has gone to the USFL. He was the leading rusher and receiver a year ago. Jerry Butler is gone perhaps for the season. Their gifted wide receiver with a knee. Frank Lewis, the veteran, has retired. Sherman White, a defensive end, not available to Buffalo. And as I mentioned earlier, they lost 2 cornerbacks last week. 2 left cornerbacks. Speedy Neal, a rookie from Miami, the single setback. Second, although the down remains the same, is 1st and 20. Neal trying to pop one up the middle. He gets out over the 15 to about the 16-yard line. How do we know? Defensively, let's take a look at the team that gave up the fewest points a year ago, even though they gave up a lot of yards. You saw a quick look at the down 3. Bob Brzezinski, so tough against the run. They are missing A.J. Due. He had knee and shoulder surgery in the offseason. He could be back in a couple of weeks. Second down and about 14. Joe Ferguson looks it over. With wide receivers are Preston Denard, recently acquired from the Rams, and Byron Franklin. But we watch Speedy Neal. Neal in the surge gets up to close to the original line of scrimmage, where it'll be 3rd down and 10.
Well, the Bills would like to run the football. Obviously, when they got a holding penalty on 1st down, that didn't help their plans any. Speedy Neal, I'm surprised he's getting this much work early. He's a decent runner. He's 254 pounds, Frank. He's from Miami, and
I didn't want to
catches
say
the ball well.
I thought it might have been a mistake, but he is. Well, he's 6'2", and he might be the biggest running back around. I don't know how Pete Johnson is coming along out there, San Diego.
He's not the most polished runner. That's why I'm surprised he's running the ball on 1st and 2nd down. I thought he would be a short yardage guy.
From the shotgun, Ferguson fires it complete out of the backfield. The rookie from Notre Dame is Greg Bell. He's short of the 1st down by a couple out to the 28-yard line, tripped up by Mike Kozlowski, the nickelback for the Dolphins.
Well, Greg Bell has had a lot of injuries over the last few years at Notre Dame, and he hasn't been able to run the ball here in Buffalo. But a play like that, he'll make that guy miss as the season goes on. He just hasn't had the time to really get the feel of this Buffalo offense.
John Kidd, a rookie 5th-round pick from Northwestern, who has shined rather brightly for Buffalo this season, gets ready to kick. You had a quick look at Mark Clayton of Miami. He's at about his own 28-yard line. Not a good kick, the kind you run back. It's low. And Clayton will get a chance to look over the field, and he gets just back to about the 38-yard line before he's buried there. Steve Potter, recently acquired by Buffalo, and a former Miami Dolphin, made the stop. 43-yard punt, 8-yard return. We'll be back with Miami's second position.
From 1970 to 1979, an all-time NFL record.
Interesting point, and O.J., when they finally won in 1980, they tore down these metal goalposts, and I understand they carried them right up to Ralph Wilson, the owner's box.
I tell you, the sad part about that is I was on most of those teams in the 70s, and we had some exciting games against this team, but we just couldn't beat them.
Miami's second possession. They drove the length of the field on their first drive, but missed on a 36-yard field goal attempt. They begin now from their own 38-yard line. Single setback is Nathan. Marino wide open is Dan Johnson. And Marino, with that quick snap, waited till Johnson uncovered the linebacker, and he was right there. 23-yard pickup. And thus far for Marino, it's been fairly easy pickings as Dan Johnson gets up slowly.
Well, I think these Buffalo Bills linebackers are more geared to stopping the run. That's the early game plan defensively. They're not getting back into their passing zone responsibility soon enough. And on this case, I think Eugene Marv should have been a little more aware of where Johnson was. Unfortunately, he wasn't. And fortunately for the Dolphins, Johnson was in the right place.
The first down is inside the 40-yard line of the Bills. But Woody Bennett in as setback now for Miami. Marino 6 for 7, 90 yards already. Bennett struggles for perhaps 2 yards. Heading down about to the 36-yard line before he's hit by Smirlis, the nose tackle, 4-time Pro Bowler, and Jim Haslett.
Well, Woody Bennett is a good, tough runner, but he's not exceptionally quick. And I think on that run, it was a case of him not getting to the hole fast enough. He was a little slow getting there. But once again, this Miami team, who is a team that likes the position block up front, they have bigger guys up there now with Roy Foster, and I think they may be able to pull better, but I don't think they can do that position block as well as he could as Kuchenberg.
Second down and 8. Marino got a man open, and he gets it to Clayton. These little guys on the outside can really give you fits as Clayton gets down inside the 15-yard line, and Marino chased out of the pocket, spotted Clayton, who came back to give him an angle, and picks up the first down deep in Buffalo territory.
Well, you're seeing more of this in the league. These young backs, they're coming into the league. These receivers, they can do more than just catch the football. They get the ball and they're thinking about running. And Clayton, we know he's an excellent special team man. He shows some of that ability to elude tacklers and picks up a couple extra yards.
And we saw Duriel Harris last night playing for Cleveland, and the emergence of Clayton is one of those reasons. Duriel Harris with a big night for the Cleveland Browns in a losing effort. First down and 10 is inside the 15-yard line of the Bills. Still no pressure thus far on Marino to speak of. He had a lot of time, just not an open receiver. This he doesn't do well. But he gets to the 11-yard line as Steve Freeman is there to make sure. Wise decision, I would say, O.J.
Yes, I think he did the right thing.
He couldn't get to the sidelines. He said, I'm going to tuck this thing away.
Well, he plays for a team that has allowed the fewest amount of sacks last year, along with the Rams, I guess it was. The Rams is a team that ran the ball because of Dickerson. So, fortunately for Marino, he doesn't have to run too much. Actually, Ben Williams is the only defensive lineman that graded out high last week, despite the 37 points they gave up. And thus far this week, he's the only one putting any pressure on the passer.
That's Duper and Clayton, both split to the left, and now Clayton comes back in motion. Nathan, Bennett the setbacks, and this is Nathan following Bennett. Good move by Nathan. Started to step outside, saw white jerseys with blue lettering, moved back inside, and gets down to about the 7-yard line. It'll be third down and about 3.
Well, Nathan can do a lot of things. He catches the ball well, and he can make people miss, but I think they would like to see him come off the bench, much like Jim Kick did for them in their glory days, and they would like to get more of a home run hitter in that backfield, and of course they had him in David Overstreet, but David passed away this offseason in a car accident, unfortunately.
Third down and 3. Nathan, right side, follows Bennett. Bennett got a pretty good hit and a terrific second effort by Nathan. He'll be close to the first down. I think he's got it. He will give you everything he's got, will Tony Nathan. Let's take a look at it in super slow motion. This, of course, Marino, Woody Bennett leading, 34. He makes a good hit, and Nathan right on his tail, makes the move, trying to get outside, and then spins off the tackle of Steve Freeman, and that is going to bring him very close to the first down. That's just good, hard football.
Tough running by Nathan and poor tackling by Steve Freeman. He should have wrapped the guy up in his arms. He tried to block him down, and we've learned over the years that the good backs, you can't block them down. You have to tackle them.
Well, I know Don Shula has to be pleased a little bit about the running. While it's not been spectacular, he had hoped early in the year And earlier in the week that he was going to get Chuck Muncie. He was traded by San Diego after missing the Seattle plane trip a week ago, but Muncie reported failed to pass the urinalysis physical. His contract went back to San Diego. He was ordered by the league to seek out a drug rehabilitation facility, one named by the league, that is. And if he does not report there and undergo treatment that is prescribed, he will be suspended. That's the status on Muncie. Movement at the line, and Marino, very wisely, down once again as Big Ben Williams was hovering all over.
Now, Ben 77, he's up for this game. I think that was Marino's fault. I think he may have forgotten the count, and he appeared as if he pulled away from the center a little too fast. Of course, maybe the center didn't snap the ball, but I didn't see anybody else on the Dolphin offensive line move, so I would put the blame on Marino on that one.
Second down, goal to go. 18 offensive plays have been run off by Miami. The Buffalo Bills have had 3 offensive plays. Still no score, 2:20 remaining in the first quarter. Marino doesn't like it. Well, it's actually the Bills who decide they want to change their defensive alignment, and Lucius Sanford will move over and talk to Kay Stevenson. Under the pressure, and they have the perfect pass called, and that is the speedster Duper. The blitz was on. That's what I guess Buffalo called timeout to decide how they were going to try and pressure Marino. And it was countered with a perfect call because Duper coming across on the slant was wide open. The linebackers all in the blitz.
Let's take a look at it from the ground level camera. Mark Duper, first of all, poor Charles Romes is trying to cover one of the fastest men in the NFL today. He's not getting much help because, as I said earlier, they're trying to protect Gary Thompson, and he's going to have his work cut off for him. I don't think there's a cornerback in the league that can cover Mark Duper one-on-one.
Live by the blitz, you die by the blitz. If you don't get to the quarterback with the Dupers and Claytons, you're going to get completions that are going to turn into long yardage pickups. Von Schaman makes it 7. 2:09 remaining in the first quarter. The Dolphins on top, 7-0. So now starting in that secondary that's been decimated by injuries. Von Schaman to kick off for Miami. High kick that'll be taken by Wilson. Very short. Wilson out to the 25-yard line. And again, tempers flaring here. Return of 14 yards by Wilson. Take a look on our new toy that we like. We hope you do. We're going to illustrate the scoring drive for you. The runs will appear in red, the passes in black, and that's exactly how Miami took it in. And they used up 5:13 on that drive. They've had possession almost throughout the first quarter.
Kids and energy, our best hope for tomorrow.
My name is John Harden.
10, the ball just over the Bills' 25-yard line. Using all of that beef, and we have already told you he goes some 254 pounds. Speedy Neal off the national champion Miami Hurricane team. They've sent a lot of them into the pros this year.
Well, as I said, at 254 pounds, he can certainly beat them up a little bit, and normally with a running game, you want to beat the defense up some, and this Miami team is an excellent team against the defense, a defensive team, but the scouting report on them is you can run on them.
Second down and 6. Williams joining Speedy Neal. Van Williams, number 23, but they come back with Speedy Neal, and he bowls out close to a first down. This will be dependent upon where they mark it, and I think they marked it just a little bit short. I want to remind you, CFA college football returning September the 29th, and it'll be a beauty. Notre Dame going against Missouri. You'll see it live at 3:30 Eastern Time from Faurot Field. Columbia, Missouri. CFA college football here on ABC. Third down, less than a yard to go. And I think it would be safe to suspect that we would see the big man again. That, of course, Speedy Neal, the rookie from Miami, third-round draft pick. He is huge. And this time it's Van Williams following Speedy Neal, much as Mike Pruitt did last night following the big man, Johnny Davis. And that looks as though they will be up there for first down yardage.
Well, it's an old strategy we used in the mid-'70s here in Buffalo. We normally found ourselves with weak defenses, so we tried to run the ball and eat up the clock and keep the game close and hope that something good can happen in the fourth quarter. And it appears as if that's the Buffalo Bills strategy here tonight, because it hasn't been much imagination with their offense up to now.
Nor have they had the ball much to speak of. First down. Williams gets the first down following the block of Speedy Neal. Miami now with 139 yards, Buffalo 27.
Now the scouting report on Miami is you can run the ball at them. Even with A.J. Dewey, they don't play to run. They play to run well, but those defensive linemen, they aren't tough against the run. And with Dewey, they can disguise it because they can jump around on a lot of defenses. And without Dewey, they have to play straight, and you can run at them.
They've given up an average of 5 yards per rush against them. That's more than they have in the past, and they've never been known as a good defense against the run. But they don't give up points. Ferguson dumps off underneath to the tank, and here comes Neal. Ouch. 254 pounds just collided with Don McNeil, as now Speedy Neal is providing a little offense for Buffalo. Gets another first down, and it's inside Dolphin territory. That's the end of the first quarter. Miami is on top 7-0. We'll be right back.
Talk to
another. We begin the second quarter. Buffalo has the football, 47-yard line of the Dolphins, and Buffalo is down 7-0. Greg Bell finds an opening over the left side as the flag goes down. Bell is up close to the 40-yard line, the rookie from Notre Dame.
Well, we sort of knew that would be. One thing I still say about this Buffalo team, they were a little humiliated last week against St. Louis. And they came in here fired up. They have enough veterans on that offense and defensive line. So we look at the holding call here and some stats from the first quarter.
And it's been all Miami. 10:36 of possession to 4:24, 139 net yards over 45. Ken Jones holding.
That's the second one on him tonight. If he can eliminate those, he's a near all-pro offensive tackle, but he's had a penchant for getting holding penalties on him in the last few years.
He's up against a wild one tonight in Kim Bokamper, former all-pro linebacker, but now is playing defensive right end for the past couple of seasons for the Dolphins. First down and 20 for Buffalo. Ferguson fires a shot, and it's complete. Preston Denard, who was with the Rams for so many years, 5 years, started there all of those years, traded during the offseason. And I think that, well, Johnny Robinson flat told us when we were out there for the Dallas game that he wanted more speed on the outside. So that'll tell you that Denard, while gifted with the moves, does not have that blazing speed that you're going to command respect from the cornerback with. Ferguson 3 of 3, 31 yards. There was a gain of about 6, so it's second down and 14. Ferguson again. Moving out of the pocket. Wide open field for Ferguson. And Ferguson pays for it inside the 40-yard line, short of the first down. You really do not like to see, as gutsy as he is, O.J., Ferguson running around with the football. He's rather fragile.
Well, there's been a lot of talk around here this week that the Bills need that leadership on offense, and I think Ferguson on that play was trying to provide it. He got a little carried away with himself, and he should have gotten down, and he was just trying to make something happen, and sometimes you take a little too much on your shoulders, and it ends up hurting the team. I can recall Fergie doing that back in '76. He didn't go down. He got hit, and he was lost to us for the rest of the season.
One of the elite who has passed for over 25,000 yards in his 11 years, now in his 12th, Joe Ferguson. Third down, a long 2. Ferguson wants a bundle on third and short. And almost a spectacular diving catch by Brookins, a rookie from Illinois that has really shined in training camp. He can catch the football. He was a running back in Illinois as well as a receiver, and he almost came up with a beauty.
Well, they say he has 4.3 speed, and he showed a little of it there. I thought Fergie just overthrew him, and he just about got there.
I'll tell you, they don't even run fake it on their pass on a third down, and, well, it was actually less than 3. They came right out throwing the ball, but they've been doing that all season. Mark Clayton has dropped now for Miami, trying to guess with John Kidd, the rookie 5th-round draft pick out of Northwestern. He's been right up there in the nation over the past 2 years as one of the top punters. Hangs it high, and Clayton is forced to call for the fair catch at the 10. 29-yard effort, but he gets it where he wants to, and that is near the 10-yard line of Miami. Oh, I wonder who I'd select for a vice president. They're just chanting juice, juice, juice here a short while ago. They still love you up here, O.J.
We had some good times up here.
All good times.
In this stadium.
First down and 10, Miami. They lead 7-0 with 13:04 remaining in the half. The ball near their 11-yard line. Bennett, right side, gets a block out front from Foster. And Marv is there, as he has been throughout the past season and through the first two games. Perhaps the best of the defensive linebacking core of Buffalo.
Well, you know, Miami was talking that they may have been tipping some of their runs, and I think that could be the case because the Bills seem to have them diagnosed even before they snap the ball. They're going in the right direction, and it's just no excuse for a team with this offensive line not to be able to run the ball better than they're running it.
Mr. Everything is in the lineup, number 11, Jim Jensen. He's had 6 receptions already in this season, so he's not out there for window dressing. Number 11. On second and long. Oh, and it was Clayton who was looking for a spot in the zone, took his eyes off the ball, and by the time he got turned around, it was through his hands.
Well, the Bills are a little shook because both Clayton and Duper were wide open on that play. They lined them both up on the same side of the line of scrimmage. Duper was outside. He went 10 yards and just stopped, and the defensive backs kept falling off him, and he could have picked his man. Of course, he picked the right guy, but Clayton just didn't catch the ball.
Third down and long, third down and 9. Marino with Clayton, Jensen, Duper, and Joe Rose, the receiving tight end. Marino nailed in the end zone. He just had to get rid of it. Cephalo was working underneath, but Marino very wisely dumped it off. That would have been a 2-pointer. The youngster at 23 years old has a great presence. He knew right where he was, and we will now see one of the phenoms in sports, Reggie Roby, the punter for Miami. And when he hits it, he really pops it. So often he doesn't have a chance to kick away, as he will now, moving from his own end zone. Don Wilson has dropped for Buffalo, and with a lot of respect, Roby is in his own end zone, and Wilson is at his own 44-yard line.
Well, we've seen him kick. If he didn't have to worry about coverage, I think he can kick that ball out there 50, 55 yards, but he tries to get it.
High snap that Roby had to go high for and come down, gets off a high kick. That's taken at the 45-yard line of Miami. Roby with a high snap was unable to get the 2 steps he needed. He had to hurry it, and he gets off a poor kick, and Buffalo will have good field position. And again, tempers flaring. 34-yard punt. Very uncharacteristic of Reggie Roby, that the high snap made him hurry the punt. 12:01 remaining in the half. Miami on top of Buffalo 7-0. The Miami Dolphins 2-0 on the season. They have defeated Washington and they beat New England. Buffalo 0-2. They lost to New England. And they were beaten 37-7 by St. Louis. First down and 10, the Bills at the 42-yard line, and the big man gets the call again, Speedy Neal. The big fullback over the left side, and it looks as though the strategy of Buffalo, you were right, they're going to send Neal right up the middle until they stop him.
Well, as I said, you can run at this team. The only problem is Marino has been so successful in getting this team out in front that most teams don't have the luxury to try to run at him. They're trying to catch up, so they must throw the ball.
That's why those stats are so deceiving. 6 yards for Neal. Second down and 4. This is Van Williams. Williams looks to the outside. Not much doing there, but he picks up a couple close to the 35-yard line, where it will be third down and 2. Bowser over in the right side, defensively there for Miami.
Well, I must question a little of Kay Stevenson's strategy here. When you drafted a kid like Greg Bell, number 1, a kid who's been hurt, he hasn't played much in the preseason, he hasn't had the opportunity to run the ball much this year because they've been behind. I think you got to let this kid play. You got to keep him in the game. You can't rotate him. You got to let him get his rhythm, and they're rotating those halfbacks, and that's not going to help this Buffalo Bill team
Greg
in the
Bell,
long run.
of course, the rookie out of Notre Dame, a first-round draft pick. He was injured much of the time as a junior and senior. Here he is. That's Greg Bell. He'll get the first down.
He knows where to run. That play was designed to go further outside, and he turned it up right away. He's got good runner's instinct.
Bell appears to have picked up the first down. He's inside the 33-yard line.
We got another flag.
Another flag is down. Holding, and that will back Buffalo up once again. Crowd doesn't like it. But Bob Frederick will march it off. Week from tonight, we'll be in Los Angeles. The Chargers and the Raiders. Chargers, big win yesterday over Houston, and of course the Raiders coming back. Kansas City, very tough, but Plunkett was able to pull them out. All three of us will be there. Don taking an evening off tonight, enjoying the Museum of Natural History down in New York and other spots along the Columbus Avenue area. Tony Hunter, the tight end, holding for Buffalo, and that cost them the first down. 3rd down and 12. Shotgun for Buffalo. Another flag is down. This time it goes underneath Byron Franklin. And he again has first down yardage, but another flag has been dropped. And we get a quick indication by the Bills that is going to work against Miami. So Buffalo will get their first down. That was Byron Franklin's first reception. Franklin, who missed all of 82 with back surgery. Here's the call.
Defense, number 73 was offside, and the penalty will be refused. First down.
Franklin missed all of that 82 season and came back last year with 30 receptions. That was Baumauer.
I tell you about Franklin. He opened this season up with 10 receptions against New England, and in the big game against Miami last year in the shootout, he had 2 touchdown receptions.
1st and 10 Buffalo. They're down by 7. The big man, Speedy Neal, over the left side, and not much happening over there this time. They seem to like to work Neal over in the left side. That's where Mark Brown is filling in for an ailing A.J. Due. And Kim Bokamper. They're located over on that side. And, of course, Doug Betters, one of the better, if not one of the best tight ends or other defensive ends in football, is over in the left side for Miami.
Well, once again, the Bills are trying to keep that explosive Miami offense off the field and at the same time eat up some of the clock, but I'm surprised that they're not giving the ball to their halfbacks on higher percentage runs than just the fullback going up the middle.
2nd down and 9. Greg Bell, the rookie speedster, is in there. Ferguson has the time and tries to get the ball to Barnett. Glenn Blackwood of the famed Blackwood brothers was defending.
Well, but Barnett was open coming across the middle, and Joe just picked him up a little late and got the ball off a little late.
There's Glenn Blackwood. He's been around 6. His brother Lyle, who roams the free safety area for Miami, has been around 12 years. Spent some time at Cincinnati, Seattle, 4 years at Baltimore, and when they were united here 3 years ago, they have become quite a team back there.
They call them the Bruise Brothers. They can hit you.
3rd down and 9. 4 wide receivers into the game. Brookins, the rookie from Illinois, the speedster, also in the game, number 81. Out of the shotgun. The blitz is on by Miami. Could have single coverage. And almost a spectacular catch. Now he took it out of the end zone. Preston Denard made a leaping effort in the end zone. He was open, and now Preston Denard is shaken up.
Well, he went down head first.
I don't think he hit that post.
He may have fell on the ball. He may have, as he brought the ball into him, he may have came down right on it because he was totally out of control after he had caught the ball. He had made such an
angle, and there's no question he did not have both feet in bounds.
I may be prejudiced, but that should be a touchdown. Well, his arm came out. 1 foot was in, but he was cleanly in bounds.
The rule is
2nd foot
2
did
feet
not
in
come
bounds. And Denard,
I guess I'm cheering a little up here.
I think they wanted him to go inside, and that's what he was complaining about. He said this is a big game, but they want to have a look at him quickly inside, and we'll get a report as quickly as we can. Meanwhile, it is 4th down, Joe Donella has come on, the place kicker.
And
Two games, he's 1 of 3 attempts, and this time it'll be an attempt of 47 yards. Now we have an official who has blown the clock dead.
What they're doing with Denard, they now have X-ray machines in every stadium, and they're just going in to take an X-ray to be safe.
Donella kicked for many years with the Giants. He hit one during his career with the Giants from 55 yards out. He's well within reach. He's a streak kicker. At times erratic, and then he'll get on a hot streak for you. This one's blocked. And Buffalo covers, but Miami is going to be close to midfield. So Miami will get the ball back with 9:24, leading 7-0, and they'll have it near their own 47-yard line.
Well, let's take a look on the far right. I think that's Don McNeil comes in. No, he actually is blocked from the center of the line.
It happens so often when a kicker tries to overextend. They try to reach for distance. They don't get the height that they should, and you get a lot of long field goal attempts blocked, and that's what happened there. We'll be back.
With satellite transmission.
Below the Bills and the Dolphins. And we're going to be taking a look at a very interesting profile of this youngster, Dan Marino, at halftime, and also bring you highlights that you did not have an opportunity to see last night in our telecast of the Cleveland game. 1st down and 10. Marino goes right to the air. Gets back in the pocket and fires a shot and gets the completion. Out of the backfield, Tony Nathan. It's close to a 1st down, maybe just a little short. But I'll tell you, Dan Marino has all of the qualities you expect to find in a quarterback that's been around for so long. He's very cool. Didn't get a start till about the 5th game a year ago. Missed the last 2 games, but had a remarkable season's output and wound up the first rookie quarterback ever voted to start in the Pro Bowl, even though he could not play because of a knee problem. There's Woody Bennett. He'll have the 1st down as he moves inside the 41-yard line. He needed to get inside the 42. Bills coming off an 8-8 season, and of course Miami off a 12-4 season. They got into the playoffs and lost to Seattle. Woody Bennett is the man who Shula hopefully is going to find that will take up the slack for the loss of Andre Franklin. Of course, we mentioned that David Overstreet tragically killed in an automobile accident in June, and the Dolphins are all wearing black number 20s on their helmets in memory of David Overstreet. On 1st and 10. Quickly out in the flat to Duper, and Duper works his way inside the 35-yard line. A gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4. And Baumauer, who just went high in the air, he is really big for a nose tackle. I said that last night, but he stands 6'5", and you don't get many nose tackles that tall, but he's not just a big, strong man. He can do a lot of things. 2nd down and 4, 35-yard line. Miami on top, 7-0. Inside 8 minutes remaining in the 1st half. Bennett. Good running by Bennett. He'll get the 1st down inside the 30-yard line, close to the 28. Good instinctive moves there, O.J.
Yes, it was, but I tell you that you saw why Dwight Stevenson may be the best center in the game today. He snapped that ball, and he was on Fred Smerlas, who I think is the best nose man in the game today. He was on him so quick, the back was able to pick whichever side he wanted to go. We have an injured player on the field, and we can't have
Charles Romes. If we lose another cornerback for the Bills, they are going to be in much deeper trouble than they're already in. They're already hurting in the secondary, and now perhaps their best defender, Charles Romes, is on the carpet.
The Wonder Kid from Albuquerque, Bob Welch. Reggie Jackson, big kid.
My name is Bob Welch, and I'm alcoholic.
Marco Tung, a second-year man out of Bowie State, has replaced Charles Romes at the right cornerback for Buffalo, and it should not be long before he's tested. Marino back on 1st down. Fires a shot. It's complete to Nathan, who is at the 23-yard line. Gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. And a moment ago, you saw one of the great catches you're ever going to see. And the ruling is that he came down on his elbow, out of bounds, before. You see it right there.
He could have touched before.
This is from Art McNally, the head of the NFL officials. That's the reason that was not ruled a touchdown.
It may appear as if he could have come down sooner, but he was going all out on that.
Romes is back in, a right cornerback for Buffalo. Just shaken up momentarily. Second down and 5. Bennett. And again, Bennett looks to the right, breaks it off to the left, and he's close to another Dolphin first down. I think he's got it. He does have it. It'll be first down and 10 Miami. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves. Back at Rich Stadium, large crowd has turned out, particularly when you consider the Bills are off to an 0-2 start. No score for the Bills thus far. They have missed on a 47-yard field goal attempt. Meanwhile, Mark Duper and Dan Marino have teamed up to give the Dolphins their touchdown from 11 yards out, and the Dolphins lead 7-0. On first and 10, Marino back again, looking for Duper, and this time it's deflected, batted away. Big number 76, Fred Smirlis, a nose tackle, had slithered out to the left, got a big paw up there, incomplete.
It's a good thing he did because Duper was wide open coming across the middle again. Big Fred Smirlis, I think most scouts and most coaches around the league will agree that he's the finest nose tackle playing the game today.
He might be up against the finest center, as you mentioned earlier, Dwight Stevenson. It's an interesting battle that's going on in there right now. Second down and 10. We understand that they are x-raying the ribs of Preston Denard. We will let you know as soon as we know something. Flags are down, second down and 10, and Marino tried to zip one into Dan Johnson, incomplete. But again, a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Here's referee Bob Frederick. Offsides against the Bills. I mentioned earlier, Miami, the least penalized team in the NFL over 8 seasons. That is truly remarkable. The Bills were the most penalized a year ago.
Defense, number 57 offside. Second down.
Lucius Sanford, the strong side linebacker, offside for Buffalo.
Well, that's an NFL record that you don't like to have.
The ball now at the 12-yard line. Jensen will move up to the top of the screen. He does it all for Miami. Woody Bennett was the single setback. Clayton and Duper, they're at the bottom of your screen. Marino fires a shot. It goes to Clayton. Touchdown, Miami. And they made it look easy. You have got to be in tight when you're playing in the secondary, but these youngsters are tough to play tight. When you're down close to your goal line, you've got to be close.
Well, they're trying to cover for this Gary Thompson. He's caught with trying to cover Clayton, and he beat Clayton. I mean, he beat Thompson at the line of scrimmage. And when you have an arm like Dan Marino, you don't have to get that much open. You just get a little open, and he's going to put the ball right there.
Von Chaman on once again for the conversion. Marino now 12 of 16, 154 yards, a couple of touchdowns. He hit an 11-yard touchdown to Duper earlier. Now he's hit Clayton. And Von Chaman tacks on the conversion to make it 14-0 here in the second quarter. And there is Mark Clayton, second-year youngster out of Louisville. What a combination, Clayton and Duper. And they work well with a youngster named Marino. For anything, especially football. Big Canadian high floating over the western New York area. Buffalo Bills fans, they have suffered for many a year, but they are still one of the most loyal groups, the most vocal groups you're going to find anywhere. Von Chaman to kickoff. Don Wilson is back there wearing number 21 along with Van Williams, 23. This one slides across the carpet into the hands of Don Wilson off Van Williams. And down the sidelines, Don Wilson. Good return. Out close to the 35-yard line. A return of 34 yards. That one bounced out of the hands of Van Williams right to Don Wilson, and another flag is down. Well, we know who that's going to work against, and so the efforts of Don Wilson are negated. And Buffalo will be deep in their own territory.
Well, it appears as if they're going to try to break their last year's record on penalties.
Let's take a look at that scoring drive. Miami now being able to throw the ball just about any time they want to, but you get the feeling that Don Shula wants to work a little bit on a running game. Well, they got the ball after the blocked field goal at the 47-yard line. There you are. Cute little thing, our little toy. After the penalty, they mark it at the 14-yard line. So rather than beginning at the 35, the Bills will start at the 14. And now Buffalo wants timeout. They've used one already. So a team that is struggling, and this is a pretty good indication, 2 wasted timeouts. Wide receiver. Byron Franklin in motion. And the blitz is on, and Ferguson dumps it out to Neal. And the big man, over 250 pounds, a nifty little move, breaks back inside, gets 2 yards out of it. Take a look at some of the baseball activities going on. Godwin, Minnesota, they're in the 7th inning. Kansas City and California, of course, later. Another 7th inning score. Detroit over Baltimore. And Cleveland, Seattle, Texas, Oakland will go later. In the National League, in the 9th inning, San Diego over Cincinnati, Los Angeles over Atlanta, and a final. The Mets over Philadelphia. Would you believe Dwight Gooden already has set a rookie record, has struck out 16. He is remarkable. Flag is down. Ferguson is about to be down.
That could be 2 points.
Depends on that first flag. If that's against Buffalo,
now
could be that Bocamper.
They're going to call
made a quick move on Ferguson, and if that is intentional grounding in the end zone, it's going to be a 2-point safety.
That could be so. Greg Bell was almost in the vicinity.
Here's Bob Frederick.
The flag will be picked up, as there was a potential receiver in the area where the ball was thrown. Therefore, it was not an intentional grounding call. However, there was illegal motion on the offense. Illegal motion on the offense.
I'll tell you, that would have been some great receiver to become a potential one.
Well, Greg Bell was in the neighborhood, but once again, we're looking at a football team.
He was in the suburbs, OJ.
We're looking at a football team that has had some problems. I mean, you can't have this many penalties. As I said last year, they broke a record. And at the rate that they're going now, they're going to break a record here tonight for 1 game penalties.
I understand I said that the Mets won. They actually lost 2-1, but when I heard that Gooden had 16 strikeouts, this youngster, 19 years old for the Mets, has really turned the city of New York on. All of baseball. He just is truly remarkable. Now it's being explained to Don Shula, who I think saw it as intentional grounding. Gooden has had 32 strikeouts in the last 2 games. That ties the Major League record. Nolan Ryan, the old fastballer, and Louis Tiant. That's pretty rapid company when you're 19 years old. He handles it so beautifully. 3rd down and 7. From the shotgun, the Bills. Again, pressure and working underneath to Van Williams. Open field. Van Williams steps out of bounds at the 48-yard line, but Ferguson, very calm, very cool. He was under tremendous pressure. He waited until Van Williams uncovered. The blitz was on, and Williams was wide open.
We'll see once again. Fergie didn't have much time, but a little delayed pattern by Williams. He blocked his man. He snuck out of the backfield, and he does a good job of getting the ball upfield once he got a little room. So they got out of bounds a little easy there.
As a youngster that spent his rookie year back in '82 on the injured reserve, didn't do much last year, but has given the Bills a big first down out close to midfield. Franklin is in motion. Neal booming up to midfield, gain of a couple. It'll bring up 2nd down and 8.
Just trying to keep Miami honest with that run. I think we're going to see pretty much the type of game we saw last year. If anyone was fortunate enough to see, the Bills won that one in overtime, 38-34, as we look at this in
This had happened a moment ago. This was in Ferguson. Appeared to Don Shula at least to be grounding the ball. That's Kim Bokamper. A lot of pressure from the right side. Now there is the intended receiver over on the right side. He was the one that was the potential receiver. There he is, number 28, Greg Bell, at least making it look good. Second down and 8. Speedy Neal now 27 yards on 7 tough carries. Ferguson trying to get it to Franklin, the speedster, and good coverage over there by Don McNeil, who's coming off a season of injured reserve of his own with a torn Achilles. But it gave William Judson, who played for McNeil last year, an opportunity to move into the lineup. He's over on the right side now, and they have traded Gerald Small to Atlanta because of the emergence of William Judson.
Well, that was an interesting play because Ferguson threw it upfield even though the right side of his offensive line was running a screen.
Another flag, another penalty against Buffalo.
Illegal use of the hand on the offensive team, number 73.
Well, we can't find the 73.
No, that's John Brouchard. He's the offensive guard from Montana State. Been around 6 years. He should know better.
Now it'll be second down and 18. Buffalo really hurting themselves tonight.
That was a weird play. They had the right side of the offensive line running the screen. I think they wanted to hit Ulysses Norris, but he's new here, so he wasn't there. So threw it downfield.
3:03 remaining in the first half. Miami on top, 14-0. 2 Marino touchdown passes in and out of the hands of Greg Bell.
Now, Joe was getting a little pressure on that play, but it wasn't that severe. He could have stepped up and threw a cleaner pass. His delivery was a little jerky on that particular play, and I think he's beginning to feel the heat a little bit.
Well, he looks over and watches Mark Dupers turn into one of the great receivers. That's what he did in that game we spoke about October last year. But Joe Ferguson in 1981 was asked by his former coach to go down and work with a youngster who was coming out for football at Northwestern Louisiana. That youngster that he worked out was Mark Duper. Third down and 18. Ferguson fires to Franklin. And it'll be short of the first down. He gets some of it back up close to midfield. It'll be fourth down. So the Bills will have to punt away with 2:51 remaining in the first half. And that means John Kidd. It's a junior at Northwestern. Kidd averaged over 45 yards a punt. And Mark Clayton, who's already caught 1 touchdown. Dangerous return man, Mark Clayton. Another short kick. Takes a Buffalo bounce, however, down close to the 12-yard line. So Miami will begin. First down and 10 as scuffling breaks out once again. Miami will begin at their own 12-yard line. We'll be back in Buffalo after this from the National Football League. Stadium, the Miami Dolphins on top 14-0. A pair of Marino touchdown passes, one 11 yards to Mark Duper, the other one 12 yards to Mark Clayton. And with those 2 touchdown passes, Marino once again the NFL leader with 9 touchdown passes over the Giants' Phil Simms, who has 8. Bennett just moving behind Dwight Stevenson, Foster, and Newman out to about the 15-yard line, gain of about 3. Woody Bennett, I mentioned, came to Miami in 1980 from the Jets. Had a lot of little injuries. Was a starter in 1981 for the first 3 games, then tore up his knee. Off and on, he's been injured. I think that concerns Don Shula more than anything else. If he builds his running offense around Woody Bennett, now with Andrea Franklin gone, he's building it around a man who has gone down with a lot of injuries. We're going to count down to the 2-minute warning. The Dolphins have 3 timeouts remaining. They have a second down and 8, and we're going to go to New York. And here's the Lamps, Tim Lampley.
As you know, the New York Giants had been as faultless as, well, Frank Gifford in their first 2 ball games. But yesterday they got their comeuppance at RFK Stadium, though for a while it appeared that the Giants' magic spell would continue. This Phil Simms touchdown pass to the free agent rookie out of Kansas, Bobby Johnson, made it 14-13 New York midway the third quarter. But then a series of errors, a fumble recovery, an interception return made it 23-14 Washington. The Giants tried to get part of it back on this reverse to Lionel Manuel. He was sandwiched by Dave Butts and Tony McGee, and then Curtis Jordan, first start in place of the injured Mark Murphy, picked the ball up, went 29 yards for the touchdown that sealed a 30-14 Washington victory. Back to the gift.
Don Shula talking it over with Dan Marino. I mentioned that Marino is 23 years old this past Saturday, and should by some chance the Dolphins get to the Super Bowl, Marino will be the youngest quarterback ever to, if he is quarterbacking Miami, and you'd have to presume that he would be the youngest ever to quarterback a Super Bowl team, replacing David Woodley, who was 24 2 years ago, and coached by the same man, Don Shula. 2 minutes remaining in the half. I remind you, we'll have an interesting profile of Dan Marino at halftime. The ball just over Miami's 15-yard line. Dan's learning quickly. And the flags fly. There's movement. He gets out of there. Another procedure call. And this time against Miami. Don Shula does not like penalties. Matter of fact, you could say
number 61 offense.
He does not tolerate them very long. That's Roy Foster, the left guard, who is in there for Bob Kuchenberg, who is on injured reserve, the Pro Bowl guard and tackle with nerve damage to the upper orbit of his eye. We wish him well. Second down and 12. Nathan. And Nathan to about the 14-yard line. It'll be third down and 9.
Well, you said Don Shula does not like penalties, and they don't get them. And I think that's an indication. If you went to their practice, you'll see a very attentive team. When they're working out, they're there. The guys who are not in there at practice, I bet you they're paying attention. Normally, when a team gets a lot of penalties, it's the kind of team that it's an indication of how they practice. If they practice loose, if the guys aren't in there paying attention when they're not practicing, those are the kind of things that make a team lose concentration and get a lot of penalties.
Third down and long. The ball is loose, and it looks as though Buffalo is covered. I think Marco Tung was on it. No, it's Steve Freeman, and Buffalo has 1:16 on the clock. And remember, they have used 2 timeouts. They wasted one on defense in the first quarter. They used one a few minutes ago when Joe Ferguson either did not like the player or the personnel, so they're down to 1. And let's take a look at it again. Tony Nathan is the one who coughs it up. I don't think he ever had control of it. He's bobbling the ball right at the exchange.
Well, you know that shoulder pads that the players wear, it comes about midway in their sternum, and I think the handoff was a little too high. He gave the ball, it bounced right off the shoulder pads, and he never had control of it.
Great opportunity now for the Buffalo Bills, and that is the first fumble that Miami has given up. Keep in mind they have given up no sacks. That's the first fumble that they have had. Ferguson under pressure. Flag is down. A man wide open. Getting into the end zone or inside the 5 is Buster Barnett, but there is a flag down. That's the tight end, Buster Barnett. And obviously, from the roar of the crowd, it's going to work against Miami.
Did you see the linemen? All the linemen were pointing this against Miami, or they were trying to tell the coach, it wasn't me, coach, it's them. You're getting a little paranoid up front there in Buffalo.
Defensive holding, number 55, and it will be refused. First down.
That's Ernie Roan, the inside linebacker. First down, goal to go. There is 1 minute and 8 seconds. The ball is at the 4-yard line.
Buffalo's got to be happy.
1 timeout.
They got a chance to get back in this ball game. They played a very good first half. They had a chance to score twice. They had Mitchell Brookins open. He couldn't hold. He was overthrown. And of course, we saw what happened to Preston Denard in the end zone. They've really played an excellent game considering they're playing against one of the finest teams in football, and they're a team with a lot of problems, the Buffalo Bills.
They have hurt themselves many times with the penalty.
There goes the last timeout.
That's called their
Kind of confusing.
And final team timeout.
I'll tell you,
for this half.
I have a hard time comprehending that. Buffalo now with no timeouts Nevertheless, they have a first down goal to go at the 4. Reminder, ABC's Wide World of Sports, Saturday, September the 22nd, 5 o'clock Eastern. The WBA World Welterweight Championship. That, of course, matches undefeated Donald Curry making his 4th title defense against top contender Nino LaRocca. And you'll see it live from Monte Carlo. Plus, cycling once again. And it, again, has become so popular since the Olympics. Bicycling everywhere. And you're going to see the World Road Cycling Championship from Barcelona, Spain. Wide World of Sports, Saturday, September the 22nd.
Well, as we said, this team has used up their timeouts, and there's Ferguson talking to Coach Stevenson. You know, Stevenson has taken a relaxed approach this year. He says he wants the team to feel relaxed, and he's taken that approach in practice, and I think it's hurt this team. I think it's time for him to get a little tougher and start stressing a little more discipline, because this team is a team that's in a little disarray.
Inside now, the 5-yard line. Joe Ferguson, a veteran quarterback, he knows what it's about out there. Even without timeouts, they're not going to feature the run. They might try it once with Speedy Neal, but they'll have a couple of plays called, and he's going to be putting it in the end zone in the air. He's 8 of 13, 108 yards on the night. Van Williams, left side. You'll see a hurry-up offense as we now watch the clock tick inside the final minute. Well, Bowser defensively there with Kozlowski, and they have not called 2 plays. I tell you, a lot of time disappear.
They'd like to run. If they have their timeouts, they can run. But Miami, even though they were rated 7th overall defensively, they're first in not giving up points. So they're tough when they get close to the goal line.
They're showing short yardage run formation, but it's a fake play action. And Ferguson, no timeouts, remember. At the 17-yard line, Doug Betters, who was the 3rd leading sacker in the league a year ago behind Gastineau and Fred Dean, makes the sack for Miami. They'll start the clock as soon as the teams get in alignment.
I tell you, this is terrible. This is horrible. They don't know who should be on the field. They'll get 1 play off here. They have a chance to get 2 plays, but they've blown that already.
3rd and goal at the 16-yard line. Almost picked off, and now the Bills are going to have to fake field goal. 9 seconds remaining, 4th down. The crowd doesn't like it. They wasted 2 timeouts, 1 in the first quarter, 1 a few minutes ago. They ran the ball with no timeouts remaining. Then they get the sack from Doug Betters. Joe Danella comes out. He's missed from 47 yards out.
We said coming into this game that this team had problems, but most of their problems appear to be on the defense, but they're showing an equal amount of difficulty on offense right now.
I'll tell you, Joe Danella should miss this from 33 yards. I get the feeling some of these fans might overrun his position. He doesn't, however, and the Bills are on the scoreboard. The Bills get on the scoreboard, but they're going to have to look back at a first down, goal to go at the 4-yard line, with all the timeouts gone.
Well, they can't play any worse. Look at this last play. Let's see if it should have been pass interference here.
That's Kozlowski covering Greg Bell, the rookie from Notre Dame. He's behind him, and now we get Blackwood coming in, playing for ball.
Well, there was clearly contact there. He was going for the ball.
I think he assumed it was his as much as it was Greg Bell.
Could have gone either way. I think the Bills are fortunate to be only 11 points down. With all the penalties and the mistakes that they've made, they're still in this ball game, and if they come out in the second half and they don't get penalized and they capitalize on some of those chances that they've had, they can get right back in this ball game.
Bills have not scored a touchdown in the first half this season, and I think that's safe to say that record is secured. Reminder again, we'll have some highlights from the games we could not bring you last night with Jim Lampley, and a profile of Dan Marino coming away at halftime. Vince Heflin, he just covering the football. As time, well, we have 1 second indicated on the clock. And we'll have to run that one off.
I think that was Clayton that didn't run that ball back. Is going to kill his average if he's thinking about getting into the Pro Bowl at the end of the year and something.
So out comes Dan Marino to run off one play. Big play provided by Doug Betters, which also calls to mind that we have a new defensive coordinator who's replaced Bill Arnsparger, who has done such a great job with Don Shula for so many years. Chuck Studley. They decided they needed linebacker help. The first 2 draft picks for linebackers were the Miami Dolphins, Jackie Shipp and Jay Brophy. So they felt that was where they were hurting. We'll be back with halftime activities in a moment.
The Dolphins are on top of the Bills 14-3. We bring you now to our studio in New York for halftime highlights. Last night at halftime of the Broncos win over the Browns, we showed you highlights of various games in the AFC. Tonight we feature 2 NFC games, and one of them, the San Francisco 49ers had to come from behind to win without quarterback Joe Montana. The NFL's quarterbacking capital of cool had to leave in the 3rd quarter of the Niners' home battle with the New Orleans Saints, but before leaving the ball game, Montana had staked the 49ers to the early lead. In the 1st quarter, this 32-yard touchdown pass to Freddie Solomon put the 49ers on top in the ball game 7-0, and they were to build a lead as Richard Todd was miserable for the Saints. In fact, as a result of this game, Bum Phillips may have to make a decision, as Todd threw 3 interceptions, completed only 2 of 7. This interception by Dan Bunz set up a Wendell Tyler touchdown run that made it 17-0 San Francisco in the 2nd quarter. Enter the newly married and physically rejuvenated Ken Stabler. In the 2nd quarter, on the first possession he piloted for the Saints, this 8-yard touchdown pass to Eugene Goodlow narrowed the San Francisco margin to 17-7. There would be more of Stabler. A field goal in the 3rd quarter made it 17-10. Then the Snake came back with this 26-yard touchdown pass to tight end Hobie Brenner, and that tied the football game at 17-17. Shortly thereafter, the 49ers lost Montana, sacked by number 94 Jim Wilkes, aggravating already bruised ribs. Montana left the football game. A Morton Anderson field goal of 41 yards gave New Orleans a 20-17 lead, which put the Niners back in front on the way to a 30-20 win. Montana was in pain, but could have played if necessary in the crunch.
It's taken my breath away at times on the field, and I was having problems calling for it.
Shortly afterward, in the 3rd quarter, Kramer lateraled to number 46, Alfred Anderson, the young man who, along with Darren Nelson, gave the Vikings a potent running attack in the ballgame. They combined for 175 yards. But Anderson, the rookie out of Baylor, was once a legendary high school quarterback in Waco. He lofted the long pass to another rookie, Dwight Collins of Pittsburgh. Minnesota was on its way with a 27-13 lead. They wound up winning the football game 27-20 on a rock-ribbed effort. 7-20 on a rock-ribbed effort for the Vikings.
Here is Van Williams. And Williams out over the 15, close to the 18-yard line. The Bills also are troubled with Tony Hunter, their fine tight end, leading receiver of a year ago. And he will not be coming back because of a back spasm, we are told. And those are the stats of the 1st quarter, and we'll dissolve those. As you can see, that one pretty much dominated Miami in terms of time of possession. It came a little closer towards the end of the 2nd half. The yardage differential lessened somewhat, and as I mentioned earlier, the Bills had a couple of opportunities, but they had to settle for 3 points when they had a 1st down and goal to go at the 4. 1st and 10 Buffalo. They're at their own 18-yard line. Speedy Neal, single setback, and this time pressure on Ferguson. He tries to get it to Julius Dawkins, who has replaced Preston Denard. It's incomplete.
Well, that's Phil Villapiano, and Phil they brought in because this week because they had a little problem getting this team up, and he gave them a big pep talk in the locker room, and they really miss him and guys like Reggie McKenzie, who were the emotional guys on this team, and they really haven't had anyone.
You know, I played golf with him a week ago and asked him what he was doing. He didn't say anything about coaching.
No, he's not coaching. They just brought him in to give a team a pep talk.
2nd down and 10 at the 18-yard line. Neal, a rookie from Miami. And the 250-pounder collides with Baumauer and Charles Bowser, the outside linebacker. Just about at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and long once again for Ferguson. He's looked over that situation several times.
Well, Fergie needs a big play. I just saw the play before when Julius Dawkins ran the wrong pattern. Joe put his head down and he walked back and he can get down on himself. He's going to have to psych it up now, and he needs a big play to get him going And he's a streak thrower. When he gets on a streak, he can really light up the place.
3 wide receivers. Mitchell Brookins, the rookie from Illinois. Great speed is in there, joining Byron Franklin and Dawkins. 3rd and long from the shotgun. Ferguson with the time. That almost picked off by McNeil. 2 Buffalo receivers in the same area. Neal coming out of the backfield. And Brookins were right together. And when you get 2 receivers together, you're going to get a collection of defenders.
Don McNeil, boy, they're glad to have him back Miami. He missed last year with a knee injury, and he gives them the opportunity to play a lot of man-on-man defense and really give them a little versatility in that backfield.
Here's Clayton, and here's John Kidd on 4th down. Miami, all things going right. Kidd get the ball back in good field position, but Kidd has just whipped one that took Clayton all the way back to his 30-yard line. Nevertheless, he steps out and bounds at the 43-yard line. 51-yard punt by John Kidd, the rookie out of Northwestern. And Miami with a 14-3 lead here in the 3rd quarter. Their first possession in good field position. Well, we have a chance. We just want to wish a good friend of ours and one of our fine technicians here at ABC, Paul Finelli, the Duke, we call him, one of our top guys. He's just gone through a triple bypass. We know he's watching. We wish him well. All the guys send our best.
It's Kidd's longest punt of the season.
Miami, they are 2-0 the season. They beat Washington in their opener 35-17. Last Sunday they beat New England 28-7, while the Bills are 0-2. They lost their opener to New England 21-17. New England at one point had a 21-0 lead, as I mentioned earlier. And then last Sunday they lost to St. Louis 37-7. Marino right to the air. Oh, a lot of time. Duper wide open. And when you give Marino, the Dolphins, that kind of time, well, they're going to hurt you.
Well, you can see they coach these Bills defensive backs that keep them in front of them, don't let them get behind you, and they're just giving them a little too much room. Incidentally, Clayton went off the field. He was limping. I think he got tangled up in one of the coach's wires for their headphone when he was running that punt back a few minutes ago.
Cephalo comes in for Clayton, number 81. That's Duper at the top of your screen. Woody Bennett. And Bennett goes down inside the 35, but a pair of flags are down as Bennett gets to about the 39-yard line. Gene Marv there defensively for Buffalo. A lot of flags, most of them against Buffalo in the first half.
I think this will be also. Oh.
Yes, it is. That's the indication by referee Bob Frederick.
I'm surprised it's a holding penalty. It looked like the Bills were offsides. Oh, here we go.
Well, either way, they've got it. Big crowd here tonight. I mentioned earlier the stadium holds over 80,000.
On the defense, number 76.
That's Fred Smirlis, who had eased across the line of scrimmage. Down will remain the same, so it'll be 1st down and 5. Seats over 80,000, and it's got to be close to 65 here. The ball right at the 32-yard line. Marino with a quick drop and a quick release. Gets it to Johnson, and Johnson steps out of bounds at the 29-yard line. That'll be short of the 1st down by a little more than a yard.
Frank, I tell you,
down a long one.
It's got to be fun playing with Marino. He psychs these guys up. He's brought a lot of heat to this team. You don't have to get that open, as Johnson appears as if he may have a hip pointer there.
Now, he's been playing with a couple of bruised ribs. He went out in the 1st quarter. He's wearing a flak jacket, and he's going to go out again.
But you don't have to get that open. You run your pattern clean, and that's Marino. He'll get the ball right to you. Put it right on the money.
He always seems to have it ready to release. Some quarterbacks, they have to wind up and throw it. He does not. Mark Clayton, I understand, has a bruised hip. He could be coming back. That's Woody Bennett, who got a lucky bounce and gets the 1st down inside the 25-yard line. Woody Bennett. That bounced right back into his hands. Let's take a look at it again. On a carpet, OJ, it doesn't often bounce like this.
Well, they're lucky. They've run this play a few times. As you can see, Sanford is getting sucked inside, and For years, they've called Miami lucky. And there's an old saying, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Miami is that
He was
type
trying
of
to
team.
change
Watch
that
this.
ball into
Come
the
on.
left hand where he should have had it in the first place. Carry that ball away from the would-be tackler. At the 24-yard line, first down and 10. Nathan, number 22, Tony Nathan. Single setback, a little flanker screen, goes out to Jensen. Looked like he almost short-hopped it. And I'll tell you, tempers have been flying all evening. That time, Darryl Talley getting into it with Eric Laxo. Take a look at it from the end zone. Little screen, you get Laxo. That's Laxo coming out, number 68, to be the man in front of it. And that hit the ground.
One of the few bad passes I've seen Marino make. Didn't have a zip on it.
And that might have had something going for it, too. Marino now 14 of 19, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns. Second down and 10. Miami leading 14-3 with a little more than 12 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Marino stepping back into the pocket. Duper once again on that crossing pattern. He just kicked in the afterburner and he steps out of bounds down close to the 7-yard line. 17-yard pickup.
And they're running the same play, the same basic philosophy on their offense. They're letting the Buffalo Bills drop back in those zones, and they're just running underneath, and they're wide open, and they have a couple of receivers that can run with the ball after they catch it. And there he goes.
Yeah, he turns a little dink into a 17-yard pickup so fast.
Well, when you have a defensive secondary that is dropping back this far, well, you have a lot of room once you catch that little dink.
5 receptions now for Duper, 67 yards, and of course the 11-yard touchdown pass. First down, goal to go. Bennett, this time he gets it out of that left hand. Spins inside the 5-yard line, down close to the 3, where it'll be second down, goal to go. You weren't with us earlier, and you don't follow the game closely. I'll tell you that this man, Don Shula, suffered a blow a week ago when he lost his prime running back, Andre Franklin. Brought Chuck Muncie in, looked him over in a trade with San Diego, and Muncie failed the physical.
And there you're looking at a man that's going to have to toughen up a little bit on these guys in practice, I believe.
So the Dolphins, who have been weak running, they have been doing well in the air, 2-0, but Shula knows along the line you're going to have to run it sometime. Nathan on second down, goal to go. It's down inside the 2-yard line. And we'll pause 5 seconds and allow our friends and stations along the line to identify themselves. Red Stadium in Buffalo, the home of O.J. Simpson.
The football home of O.J. Simpson.
Tell me about it in December. Did you love it as much?
I tell you, it's pretty tough practicing out here in December.
I tell you, there's not too many in that Ring of Honor. I think they call it the all-time honor roll. You understand that Congressman Jack Kemp will be inducted in November. Timeout call by the Dolphins. We'll be back in a moment.
CPR is something everyone should know.
Team.
Well, I think we're going to take a look at it from the ground level. I don't think Nat Moore was his primary receiver. He was trying to hit a guy in the flat. He wasn't open. He looked to his backup receiver, and here comes Nat Moore across the middle.
Hey, that's some good camera work. You saw Bennett's block, making the touchdown shot possible to Nat Moore. Von Schaman for the conversion. And Miami extends their lead. And now Marino has connected for 3 touchdown passes. This one to the veteran Nat Moore. We'll be returning to Buffalo in a moment. 21, the rookie free agent from North Carolina State. Van Williams over to your right. Number 23, awaiting the kickoff of Von Schaman. Marino now with 3 touchdowns on the night. That's 10 on the season. And we're in the third quarter of the third game of this young season. Von Schaman, and it will be taken by Van Williams, and Don Wilson tells him to stay in there. And the touchback will bring the ball out to the 20-yard line. Will be first down and 10 Buffalo. And let's take a look at that scoring drive. Good mix of run and pass. There's our little toy.
Typical Don Shula. In the past would be a few more runs than pass. Would be 3 passes to the 5 runs. But when you got Marino back there throwing the ball, you want him to put it in the air. Now I'm gonna start coaching this Bills team. I've been cool up here, but I'm gonna have to start coaching this Bills team. I think you got to bring Neal in the game. You got to have him block. You bring another receiver in the game. And you start throwing the ball and start throwing pitches to Greg Bell.
At the 20-yard line. Greg Bell is in the lineup, the rookie from Notre Dame. Ferguson to the air. And he connects over the middle. That's Buster Barnett. And now at tight end, we told you that Tony Hunter, the second-year tight end and a good receiver, will not be coming back. He has a back spasm. Barnett is filled in for him, and he picks up 8 yards. It'll bring up second down and 2.
That's too bad for Tony Hunter, because I think around the league, everyone feels that he's going to be a superstar, and he's a player that they're going to have to get more active in this offense. I don't think it's from his fault. I think they just don't plan him in the offense enough.
That's the time remaining in the third quarter. Second down and 2. Ferguson in trouble. Arm was in motion, but he was almost back to the line of scrimmage on the scramble. To point out, our friend Reggie Jackson is going for home run number 500 tonight. First time at bat. Flied out. Third down and 2. Ooh, the bags start coming out.
Uh-oh.
A few years ago, we were down in New Orleans, and the Aints all showed up. We had about 30,000 people wearing bags. Meredith thought the World's Fair had come earlier. Ferguson now 9 of 18, 116 yards. The Bills.
There they go. Spread
inside their 28-yard line. Third down, 2. And they're thinking pass. Ferguson connects to Byron Franklin. And Franklin has the first down. He's out over the 40-yard line. 12-yard pickup. Langford there defensively for Miami.
Now they had a spread offense. They had 2 wide receivers on both sides of the field, and I think they're going to have to do that from now on. I think they had to spread them out and put the ball in the air. And they took a page from Miami's book here. They ran everybody downfield, saved 1 receiver, and had him come underneath the coverage and got positive yardage from it.
Inside the 41-yard line, first down, Buffalo. Again, pressure, Brzezinski on the blitz, and the little screen to Booker Moore. And Booker Moore, good yardage, out over the 45-yard line before Mark Brown collects Booker Moore. Booker Moore, a very interesting story. First-round draft pick in '81. Missed all of his rookie year with a rather rare disease, Guillain-Barré syndrome, a disease that is contracted from a flu virus. He missed all of that rookie season out of Penn State, where he had a great career, and much of '82. Here he is.
I don't know what they're doing. They're rotating these backs. They should get Greg Bell in the game, because he's the one that's shown a little spark, and he's the only guy I see out there on the Bills coming from their backfield that can break one.
On 2nd and 4, Speedy Neal, left side. It's maybe a couple of yards out of it, short of the first down, short of midfield. That's where he had to reach.
Well, she's winning whatever game she's playing.
What do they do up here late in the year?
Put on a lot of clothes.
One of the problems the Bills have suffered in late season games, they have almost historically won more in the early going, but it isn't so much that they play in the weather. It's the fact that, as you pointed out, O.J., they don't get a chance to practice much up here when it gets really cold and snowy.
Been about an hour on the field, and you have to get in, thaw out.
3rd and 1. Speedy Neal once again, left side. He'll be close to the first down. Speedy Neal, as I mentioned earlier, came from the national NCAA champion Miami Hurricanes a year ago, but he went out last season in the 9th game with a shoulder injury that required surgery. So while he was on the team, he didn't get a chance to share in that national title, the win over Nebraska. I think Now we're going to have a measurement. Don Shula looking for a 3-0 beginning of this season. Speaking of the undefeateds, and there are 4 of them remaining as we see the Buffalo Bills picking up the first down. We'll be watching the Raiders next Monday night, and they are undefeated. They go against the San Diego Chargers. Dan Fouts, Kellen Winslow is back, and he was back in a big way yesterday. What do you have, 10 receptions? Raiders, of course, pulling out a victory over a tough Kansas City team. Don Meredith will be joining O.J. and myself for that one. 1st and 10. The Bills have moved across midfield into Dolphin territory. The ball close to the 49-yard line. Play action again by Ferguson. Dumps it off to Van Williams. And Williams runs into Mark Brown. And little, if any, pickup on that.
Yeah, he's pushed down by Mark Brown. Mark Brown is an interesting story for this Miami team. He's from Purdue, where he broke a Big Ten record for tackles in a season, 209. He averaged 15 solo tackles a game, and he's a leading tackler for the Dolphins thus far this year, and he's been a find for them.
There he is. Of course, he's in there because of A.J. Duane, who is coming back from shoulder and knee surgery. The Dolphins feel they'll have Duane back in a couple of weeks. 2nd down and long for Ferguson and the Bills. Brzezinski comes on the blitz, and Ferguson gets it to Williams, short of the first down, down around the 42-yard line. Charles Bowser defensively there.
Hey, smart. When your game plan doesn't work, what you do, you look across the field, you see Don Shula, and you say, well, let's just start doing what he's doing. And that's what the Bills are doing now. They're running their receivers deep, and they're saving one receiver. They're running him underneath the coverage, and that's exactly what Miami has been doing the whole game, and now it's working for the Buffalo Bills.
3rd down and 2. We know what the Bills are going to do if they follow their pattern. Forget about the run. They'll come right out in the shotgun. There they are. Interesting. Miami has allowed 5 yards per run against him during the first 2 games. The Bills, short yardage or nothing. They throw the ball. This time it's White, Craig White, a rookie from Missouri, 11th round draft pick, and he'll have the first down.
And if they give Ferguson time, if they continue to give him a little time to throw the ball, Ferguson will do this all night. Ferguson will put some points on the board. I must say, though, now that they're about the 35-yard line, they got to start looking for the end zone because, as I said earlier, Miami is the toughest team in football to score on inside the 30-yard line.
21-3, Miami over Buffalo. We're in the 3rd quarter, inside 6 minutes remaining in the 3rd period. 1st and 10. The Bills. 37-yard line of the Dolphins. Blitz is on Brzezinski. Almost got to Ferguson that time. He has been coming with a lot of regularity. Bob Brzezinski really is not the kind of linebacker you like to put into the blitz. He's really tough and strong against the run, the former Ram, over in the strong side position for the Dolphins. There he is, former LA #1 pick. Little contract disagreement back in '81, and he was the reason that Kim Bocamper was able to move over to right defensive end. Bocamper, a Pro Bowl linebacker where Brzezinski is playing. 2nd down and 10. Dan Williams in motion. Movement by Baumauer in the middle of the line, and a flag is down. This should be a free one. Williams. Good tackle by William Judson.
Well, Buster Bennett had a step on his man going down the middle deep, and I'm a firm believer that when you're down 21-3 and you know you have a free play, you throw for the end zone.
You saw Bob Baumauer, the nose tackle, move just before the snap. They'll take the penalty because down will remain the same, and they'll pick up about the same amount of yardage.
Now let's take a look at the secondary. Now look down the middle. You'll see 84 go right down the middle. He's going to beat his man, even though they are playing a deep zone, but those safeties are sort of playing to the outside. Now you know you have a free play. Throw the ball deep.
2nd down and 5. 11th play of this drive. Crowd still in it. 65,000 plus, we've been told. And they're coming with the wave. That's one of the better waves we've seen. Ferguson fires a shot. Gets the ball out to number 89. That's Dawkins, who has replaced the injured Preston Denard. And Dawkins will have first down yardage inside the 25-yard line. So the Bills have got something happening.
They got it going, but here's where Miami is very tough. As I mentioned earlier, even though they were 7th, which is very good overall defense in the NFL, they gave up the least amount of points, and that tells you that when you get close to their goal line, they're tough to score on.
5:06 remaining in the third quarter.
They've always been like that. When we played them, we get around here and we start throwing for the end zone.
Dawkins splits left. Byron Franklin is to the right. Setbacks are Van Williams and Booker Moore.
Well, the Bills doing the right thing.
To the corner, Ferguson. In and out of the hands of Julius Dawkins. The flag is down. And it could be that Lyle Blackwood interfered. Well thrown ball. William Judson and Lyle Blackwood were both back there. Lyle shaking his head. And referee Bob Frederick is going to thrill the crowd.
Defensive pass interference. Number 42 in the end zone. First down and goal on the 1-yard line.
Lyle Blackwood really had to take a chance here, O.J., because this was a perfectly thrown football to Dawkins.
Yeah, it sure was. You give Joe time, he can do it. And once again, the report on this Dolphin team is before you get inside that 20, you better try to throw for the end zone. And the Bills did it, and they came out a winner this time. Need a couple of more of them, though.
I think Lyle Blackwood just factored it all in and decided he'd take the risk on the interference. First down, goal to go. Van Williams goes up over the top and comes down short.
Bob Baumhauer did an excellent job of getting under as we look at the interference from reverse angle here.
We couldn't miss it from the other angle, but we'll show you from this side.
I tell you, Joe threw a perfect pass here. This is a perfect pass on a man who is running against, he's doubled up in a zone defense, and the ball couldn't have been thrown much better than that.
And Lyle Blackwood just took the right arm of Julius Dawkins and just ripped it from the ball.
Did you see Baumhauer come underneath that time? Now, I would quarterback sneak it. These guys are so quick up front. They penetrate so well. I jump on them right away. Ferguson should jump over the pile here.
Second and goal. And the big one, Speedy Neal, pulls his way into the end zone. The Bills are back in the game.
253 pounds. Excites the crowd here in Buffalo. We may get a game out of this, Frank.
Speedy Neal with all that size. I don't know why they didn't give it to him the first time. That was an 80-yard drive. Of course, the big help came on the pass interference, but it was a pass interference that Ferguson and Julius Dawkins forced on Lyle Blackwood. He had nothing else to do to save the touchdown shot. Speedy has 34 yards thus far on the night. They've been tough yards. Koeffler will put it down for Joe Danella. Wow. Very close.
Oh, they're flirting with it tonight.
They are. Very close to being blocked. Danella says, hey, what's happening here? We'll be back.
Hazard.
Speedy Neal, not because he's fast, but when his mother went into labor with him, it was a matter of minutes before he was out there screaming at the world, and they named him Speedy immediately.
All right. Danella to kick off. Vince Heflin deep for Miami. This one is short. Vince Heflin steps up and gets out close to the 30-yard line. 18-yard return as Vince Heflin took it on the dead run. 3:48 remaining in the third quarter. 21-10, Miami over the Bills. However, Miami defeated the Buffalo Bills 20 straight times. O.J. banging his head in there relentlessly, I know. But then in 1980, the Bills won. And since that time, through last year, Buffalo has won 3. They've lost 5, and they split a year ago. Even though the Bills were 8-8 and Miami was 12-4, the Bills took one from Miami. Quick shot by Marino to Bruce Hardy right over the middle, dumped it off, and Hardy gets up to about the 39-yard line, short of the first down by a yard. Again, Dan Johnson went in for x-rays. He would be the tight end ordinarily in a run situation. That's Kim Bocamper. I spoke of him a moment ago as an outstanding linebacker, but when Brudzinski came in from the Rams, that was the spot Brudzinski knew so well. And Don Shula, as he's done so many times, moved his personnel around, and now Bocamper is the starting defensive right end. Second and short, Woody Bennett, and he runs right into Jim Haslett. And there will not be the first down. Well, now they've marked the progress up over the 40-yard line. And it is a first down. Joe Ferguson. He's seen the good times and the bad.
Yes, I've been with him for some of the good times and a lot of the bad times. We had some tough times here in the 70s and some good ones.
Well, we had a lot of fun watching you. Marino 17 of 22, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns. His connector for tonight. First and 10. Again, he has a lot of time. Looks around, no receiver, dumps it to Nathan, and Nathan with good footwork gets inside the Bills' territory, short of a first down, near the 49-yard line. Marv and Sanford there defensively, the outside linebackers, and this one is going to be close enough for a measurement. .211 remaining in the third quarter. We talked so much about how Ferguson threw for 5 touchdowns in the second meeting of these two teams a year ago, over 400 yards. What we didn't talk much about, as you can see, is just perhaps an inch short of the first down. But Dan Marino in that game passed for over 300 yards. And Mark Duper had 7 receptions, 2 touchdowns, and 207 yards. That was some game, over 1,000 yards of offense. CFA college football coming back September the 29th, and you'll see it live, 3:30 Eastern time. 2 of the good ones, Notre Dame getting it on with Missouri from Columbia, Missouri, right here on ABC. Second and a whisker. Ooh, and there was movement by Smirlis. The nose tackle. Flags are down, and I think instead of a couple of yards on the pickup, they're going to have 5 yards assessed against Buffalo. You know, in all honesty, O.J., Buffalo, outmanned as they are, they're putting up quite a battle tonight.
Well, they got enough veteran players in there that, as I said, they must have been.
Defense, offside, number 76. First down.
Fred Smirlis there. As we said, they got a lot of pride, and they know they can play a lot better than they've played, and they just had to get fired up, and they missed that individual on the field that can fire them up, and they brought Phil Filippiano back, and he sort of fired them up a little here tonight. They just had some mistakes that are killing them.
First down and 10. Marino going to the air on almost every first down. Flags are down everywhere. And that's Jimmy Cefalo. The flags are down once again at the line of scrimmage, and one is downfield. Again, referee Bob Frederick seeing a lot of action tonight. Saw a lot of him. And again, it works against Buffalo.
Well, obviously, it has something to do with how this team is preparing during the week. You just don't come out and make these mistakes on Sunday or Monday night. Normally, as we listen to this.
Defensive holding, number 26. The penalty will be refused. The result of the play, first down.
He'll take the completion to Cefalo. Charles Romes was holding for Buffalo. It'll be first down, Miami. They are now at Buffalo's 33-yard line. So big series for Buffalo. They're down 21-10. If they can hold here, get something on the scoreboard, then they got a shot at this game. First and 10. And they have consistently thrown the ball on first and 10. Bobble.
And when it's going for you, it goes for you. The ball bounced
right back into Woody Bennett's hands once again. That's twice Woody Bennett has been the beneficiary of a good bounce.
Anybody need a good point guard in the NBA? We got the man for you.
The loss, however, of a little more than 3 yards. It'll be second down and 13. The ball at the 36-yard line. Again, I think this just was in the handoff. He never did control it.
Yeah, his hand hit it that time. Once again, Woody Bennett's hands weren't in the proper place for the handoff, and he just knocked the ball out of Marino's hands.
Buffalo showing the blitz, and they're right in Marino's face, and it'll be picked off. Steve Freeman, and he could take it back. Great effort on the part of Ed Newman of Miami, the all-pro guard. And saved a touchdown.
I'll tell you, Charles Rose, number 26, or Ken Johnson, number 91, all they had to do was throw a block on him, and Steve Freeman would have walked in the end zone. Now, we're going to take a look at it on the replay here. The Bills had a blitz on.
That was Gene Marv right in Marino's face. He had to hurry the pass right into the hands of Steve Freeman, and this is what you're talking about. One block on Newman.
Nope, okay.
Freeman's in the end
zone. Look at 26. What is he doing? What is he doing? What is 91 doing?
Don't know.
They had good seats. They had the best seats in the house.
He looked like a bullfighter, waving him in. The play was made possible by Gene Marv, and a badly designed play in which they did not have anyone to pick up Marv. So the Bills get a break. They'll have a 1st and 10. They're inside the 30-yard line of Miami, down 21-10. Ferguson, little moving pocket. Tough pass to get completed, and he throws it out of bounds, intended for Byron Franklin.
Now that's not a tough pass for Joe Theismann or Joe Montana, guys who are very proficient at throwing the ball on the run. Joe Ferguson is not a rollout quarterback, and you can see there that he's just not proficient at throwing it. You look at Steve Freeman there, you wonder why he was just voted on the Bills' all-time football team at free safety, and one of the reasons is whenever there's a mistake, Steve's around.
Hey, he's been around. He's survived 137 consecutive games up here that he's played in through all kinds of weather. 2nd down and 10 at the 26-yard line of Miami. Speedy Neal, single setback. This is Neal. And Neal in the arms of Mark Brown.
I think Joe is getting a tad gun shy because he really once again could have stepped up in the pocket and had more time to throw the ball. He chose to unload it to his safety valve, Speedy Neal. Gotta like the way Speedy catches the ball, Frank, for a guy 257
Bad at
pounds.
all, it really isn't. He moves well for a big man. 3rd down and 9. Neal got 1 out of that. Buffalo has had their opportunities.
Once again, I tell you, they have to go to the end zone when they're in this area, or the Dolphins just get tougher as they get near the end zone.
That's Franklin on the reverse motion from the shotgun. Ferguson steps out of trouble, and he's taken down from behind. The ball is loose. Bowser was pursuing him, and Betters fell on the ball, and Miami's going to get the turnover.
That is what you call tackling the ball. Bowser was aware that Ferguson didn't realize he was there, and he stripped him of the ball, and he went for the ball. He did exactly what he intended to do.
Ferguson now chased out of the pocket. He felt the presence of Bowser, and Bowser, instead of going for the tackle, went with a strong shot to the right arm, and Betters is right there. So Buffalo, another opportunity that goes right, and Miami will have a 1st and 10 when we come back at their own 25. Simpson, 37 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. The Miami Dolphins leading the Buffalo Bills 21-10, and the Dolphins have just picked up another turnover. Doug Betters recovering the fumble of Joe Ferguson. 1st and 10. Tony Nathan.
Beautiful.
Tony Nathan, very heady runner without great speed, but Nathan works his way out over the 30-yard line. Gain of about 6 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 4. These are a couple of key gains. Minnesota, as you can see, lost to Chicago. Kansas City and California are in the 4th inning. And if Kansas City can win this and they are leading 5-0, they will move into 1st place. So that's the story in the American League. And that is also the end of the 3rd quarter. Another exclusive of ABC Sports. Miami 21, Buffalo 10. Will return for the 4th quarter. But right now, this word from our local stations. Back at Ridge Stadium in Buffalo. The Bills have had opportunities. They've hurt themselves, and they are still in the game as we begin the fourth quarter with the Miami Dolphins at their own 32-yard line, 2nd down and 3. Nathan and Bennett are the setbacks, and this is Tony Nathan trying to get forward for the first down, but he hits into Ben Williams. It'll be 3rd down and about 1.5 yards.
And Meredith, wherever you may be, I want you to pay close attention to this. This broadcast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited.
You've been working on that.
I tell you, that's what an SC education will do for you.
Wait a minute.
Had a 5.2 average there.
Per carry.
Per carry, yes.
3rd down, short. Single setback, Tony Nathan. It's a long 2, and Marino will put it in the air. Good move by Cephalo. He made a quick square-out move. He was wide open, and the man coming off knee injury still has the good moves. He never, ever had the speed, even when he came up from Penn State 5 years ago, but he has some tremendous moves. Watch him now. He'll take it in motion, and he'll give a square cut to the sideline, giving Marino the perfect angle. Just moving right away from Rod Kush.
Well, the problem is you teach your defensive backs to watch that quarterback, and they watch him. They're going to have to keep a closer look on those receivers because this guy throws the ball so quick. He has such a quick release that it's too late if you don't stay close to those guys.
Boy, it is ready to go at any moment. 1st and 10. Miami in Bills territory once again. Full blitz. Marino reads it, gets it out, and gets the completion. Going out to Nat Moore. He is quick. They brought everyone but the head coach, Kay Stevenson, on that blitz.
Most quarterbacks would have waffled the ball out there, but that ball had a lot on it.
The numbers for you once again. That's how we stood at halftime. Miami dominating in all areas. And this is where we are now. 281 yards, 223 of those yards have been passing. That is not the way Don Shula would like to see it distributed. But that is what he is faced with the loss of Andre Franklin a week ago. Reno this time drills it into the turf. He knew he could not get the completion.
And much like Joe Ferguson, Marino is not a rollout quarterback either.
Andre Franklin went down last week, and we mentioned earlier the tragic death of David Overstreet, who is really starting to come into his own last year. He was killed in a car accident in June, and the Dolphins are all wearing black number 20s on their headgear in memory of David Overstreet. Bills themselves have lost so many players. Joe Cribbs, their leading receiver, the leading rusher, went to Birmingham in the USFL. Jerry Butler, knee injury, maybe gone for the season. Frank Lewis retired. Sherman White, the defensive end, also knee problems. 3rd down and 4. Ferguson, a great pass. He gets it to Cephalo. Marino with that quick snap. The ball is loose. It's still loose, and it looks as though Buffalo got it back. They did. But it's worth looking again at Marino under tremendous pressure and just snapped that ball off to Cephalo. Ball takes some funny bounces. And coming out of the pile is Marco Tung, second-year man out of Bowie State, in there on the prevent defense.
Let's take a look at from the end zone. Once again, Marino has that strong arm. Wrong foot forward. He's in the air, and Cephalo's always been a decent runner after he catches the ball, and does a good job here. Once again, he didn't see Sanford, whose helmet hit the ball.
Darryl Talley also popped him. So Buffalo dodges another bullet with 13:06 remaining in the fourth quarter. Buffalo will have a 1st down and 10 at their own 21-yard line when we come back to Buffalo. And Buffalo has the ball back. They have 13:06 remaining in the game. They've been able to move the ball, but they have time and time again hurt themselves. Blitz on by Miami. Ferguson to Dawkins. And Dawkinson out over the 25 to about the 28-yard line. Dawkins short of the first down in the arms of William Judson.
Well, I think you're going to have to see Miami blitz here, because if you give Joe time, he'll burn you. And if they score a touchdown on this drive, they still have 12 minutes to go in the game. This crowd will go crazy. And anything can happen at that point.
Don Shula and the Dolphins know Ferguson so well. He's played them twice a year over the last 11 years. They're up there showing blitz once again. 2nd and 3. Ferguson changing the play. He better hurry. Dolphins got out of their blitz. Ferguson loses the football. And did he get it inbounds? No, he did not. So the offensive team will remain possession. Bowser was the man there for Miami.
When it rains, it pours.
Joe Ferguson had looked at a blitz, changed the play at the line of scrimmage. The defense can also automatic. They got out of the blitz, and Ferguson had the wrong play called.
Well, you know, when you check off and you know it's going to be a blitz, what you have to do is throw that ball away. If you don't find him right away, you just got to throw it away. As you can see, he has to have control of the ball, and he may have had it in his hands, but one foot was in bounds. How's that?
Got to have 2 of them in there, just like on a pass completion. The loss, however, all the way back to the 9-yard line. 3rd down and 21. Craig White comes in, the rookie from Missouri, a wide receiver. The Bills now with 3 of them. Byron Franklin remains along with Julius Dawkins. From the shotgun, 4 down linemen for Miami. Ferguson rolls out again. Gets the ball to Franklin. Franklin turns it loose. And it's still loose. And the Bills, I think, come up with it. And they are very close to a first down. Julius Dawkins, I think, finally winds up with it for Buffalo. They ought to put that in their offense.
Yeah, well, we remember one year when the Raiders were at Oakland, they put it in their offense. They won a game against San Diego doing this. Joe's run out of the pocket. He throws back over the middle, which is normally a no-no in football. Never throw late over the middle. They had a man wide open, Byron Franklin. Does a good job of running with the ball. The ball comes out.
He just stripped of it, and then there is a mad scramble,
further
and
rollover.
Dawkins comes up with it. I think it was Paul Langford who stripped the ball.
This is interesting. Buffalo's going for it.
Ooh, and you're down 21-10. You're in the 4th quarter.
Hey, the way Marino is throwing the ball, I'd go for it too. They may just try to pull him off sides, though. We'll see in a second.
How about big Speedy Neal? You betcha, 250 pounds. He's close. I think he has it. There is some noise made when Speedy Neal hits that short yardage situation.
Big Speedy sort of dived in there. You don't like to see those big guys dive. That weight is a little nullified once you get it off the ground. You can see those big guys keep those feet on the ground and drive.
Well, we're going to have a measurement. A very critical one for Buffalo. The Bills 0-2. Miami looking to go 3-0.
Ooh, it's going to be close.
I think Speedy Neal just timed it up just about right.
Oh, no, it's not that close.
First down, Buffalo, 11:09. They keep it alive. They go on 4th down. They make good.
Well, if nothing else tonight, the Bills have found themselves a true fullback. This Speedy Neal is going to be good. He is good now, and he's going to be excellent. And now they just have to make up their minds who's going to be their halfback. And I think they have one in Greg Bill. I just think they should give him a little more time with the ball.
Ferguson, 18 of 29, 178 yards, and Kim Bokamper now is being treated on the sidelines for Miami. We'll see Mike Charles in there, number 71. On first down, Ferguson has a lot of time, and a receiver is open. Byron Franklin. And Ferguson, if you give him time, he can still, in his 12th season, throw it on a rope. And you have to respect the speed of Byron Franklin. They are playing him up very close. That is William Judson at the bottom of the screen.
Well, they're
He
playing
passes
man.
him on.
Played a man, gave him a little bump, and Franklin happened to be running the right pattern. Neal was with him. Ball was right on the money.
First down, Buffalo, near the 45-yard line of Miami. It is Mike Charles in for Kim Bocamper, second-year man out of Syracuse, who really came on last year for Miami. Ferguson in trouble. Hits the ball out towards Buster Barnett. He trapped it. It'll be second down and 10.
Well, it's a good example of Ferguson being a pure pocket quarterback, as we can see Bocamper on the sideline there. Look like they're taking listening to his heartbeat or something there. The guy was putting on the... But Ferguson is just not a good scrambler. You'll see a guy like Plunkett buy time in there. He's not a great scrambler, but he knows how to buy time in the pocket. Ferguson has never been really too proficient at buying time in the pocket. But if you give him the time, he'll pick you apart.
Yeah, he's not your scrambling type for sure. You must protect him. Second down and 10. Pressure again. Ferguson wants a bundle. Tries to get deep to Julius Dawkins. Good coverage back there. Coming over from the free safety spot, Lyle Blackwood. And Judson playing it very close.
Well, once again, Joe had time, but I think he felt rushed. He threw the ball a little sooner than he had to.
I tell you, they are coming with the weak side linebacker on almost every play now.
Well, there's a lot of quarterbacks like that. We spoke of it last week with Hart. Jim Hart, our philosophy against Jim was if you can get to him early, you can force him to throw the ball a little sooner later on in the game. And a lot of quarterbacks are like that if you get to him early. And Ferguson, I think, may have that reputation around the league.
Third down and 10. 4 wide receivers in now for Joe Ferguson, who will work from the shotgun. Miami showing 3 down linemen. They have 6 defensive backs in the lineup. This will be a hunt and peck.
Once
We'll
again,
hit it underneath and go for the run. That's Franklin. He'll be short of the first down by about 2 yards, and now it'll be 4th down and 2. Will Kay Stevenson go again?
why not?
You may as well. 10 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter.
Well, you know, on one scoring drive, that was working for him, throwing that ball underneath the pass defense, and they got away from it, and they came right back to it, and it worked.
I understand the Kim Bocamper has a jammed neck. We'll try and get a further report. Fourth down and 2, and the Bills will go. Down 21-10 with less than 10 minutes remaining in the game. And they have gone strictly with the pass. And any short yardage play up to, say, 2 yards, and they're out of the shotgun right now.
They're going to have to throw it fast. Look at this.
Ferguson wide open is Julius Dawkins. He's in the end zone on a 4th and 2. And Buffalo has brought it close once again. They've hurt themselves throughout the game. They've hung in there. And now, well, they are very close.
As a flag, but it was thrown in the secondary. It normally signifies somebody bumped someone a little too late.
That's exactly what it was against the Dolphins. They love their Bills. 65,000 on their feet.
I got news for you.
Holding on the tight end. Resume. Touchdown.
This is a football game.
That's a good play by Ferguson under tremendous pressure. No one even touched the blitzing linebacker, Rodell Thomas. Good concentration. Got the ball to Dawkins. And Judson was never really in it. 9:20. A lot of time for a lot of things to happen. Danella for the conversion. Puts it down, puts it up, and we have a different football game. 4-point differential now. And we'll be back in a wild, rich stadium in just a moment. There's Julius Dawkins. He came in the second quarter for an injured Preston Denard, and he kept his concentration. The Bills on that drive going twice on 4th down, picking up a first down with Neal on a 4th and 1, and then on a 4th and 2 with the blitz on. Joe Ferguson very calmly hit Dawkins for the touchdown. Vince Heflin awaiting the kick of Danello. It's short. Heflin will take it at the 10. Heflin bouncing off tacklers and a good return. Heflin out close to the 35-yard line. 24-yard effort. Let's take a look at the scoring drive. Keep in mind, two of the key plays occurring on 4th down. Hayes Stevenson at midfield deciding to go on 4th and 1, down 21-10. That wasn't much of a decision, as a matter of fact. And then in the 39-yard line on 4th and 2, the touchdown shot. First down, Marino back once again on first. Tony Nathan. Line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Give him a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9. It has turned into quite a rivalry, hasn't it, O.J.? You get the feeling these fans are,
well, Frank,
beat Miami than anyone.
I keep hearing you say it's turned into a rivalry. It was quite a rivalry, even though they were beating us every game during the 70s, because they would always beat us by 1 point or 2 points, but it was always an excellent football game. And our offensive line and their offensive line had a little rivalry as to who was the best offensive line in football during those years.
Okay, 2nd down and 9 for Miami. Williams pressuring Marino. He's popped. Gets the ball to Cepolo. He does not handle it. It'll be 3rd down and 9, and Marino was really hammered that time.
I tell you, Cepolo had no idea that Gary Thompson was still running towards the end zone. As we take a look at Marino in super slow-mo.
Williams is the pressure, but he's not the man who provides the hit. There it is right there. Good shot.
To Ken Johnson.
3rd down and 9. Miami has punted only once tonight. That from their own end zone. That's the time remaining in the game. Buffalo trailing by 4 points. Deflected. Oh, and almost coming up with another interception was Steve Freeman off the deflection, and Miami will punt. The crowd is acting like it's the Super Bowl.
I tell you, Steve Freeman would have had another one if Lucius Sanford, who was going for the interception, hadn't double deflected the ball.
And Miami trots out a tremendous weapon in the form of Reggie Roby. He had trouble with his other punt on the night, a high snap. He kicked a short ball, some 36 yards. But he is capable of ripping off 65 and 70-yard punts. Don Wilson has dropped for Buffalo, the rookie free agent out of North Carolina State. Made this team as a free agent by showing well on special teams. Roby has hit a monster, hangs it high. Wilson at the 21. Out over the 30-yard line, and not bad field position for Buffalo, and the crowd is going to go wild. Buffalo has the ball back. 8:06 remaining in the game. They trail by 4. Don't go away. 20 or 30,000 Buffalo Bills fans stand up, look at the booth, and start shouting, "Juice, juice, juice." They want you back, my man.
No, they won't need me if the Bills score on this drive.
32-yard line, 1st down and 10, Buffalo with the football. They trail 21-17. We're in the 4th quarter, 8:06 remaining in the game. Ferguson, draw play. Booker Moore. Good moves by Booker Moore. He was trapped behind the line of scrimmage and still able to get back to the line of scrimmage before he's dropped there by Brzezinski.
Let me tell you something. I came here thinking Miami was one of the 3 top teams in football, and I still think they're certainly one of the better teams in the NFL, but I've seen something here tonight. If they can't get a pass rush without blitzing, and that's the only way they've had one tonight, this team is going to be in some trouble because they aren't all that sound on pass defense.
We look down the line a couple of weeks, and they'll have A.J. Dewey back. When he's in there, they can do so many things in a deceptive way, but he also is a good pass rusher. Booker Moore got 1, so it's 2nd and 9. Booker Moore again, and dropped by number 47, Glenn Blackwood. Getting out over the 35-yard line was Booker Moore. That'll bring up 3rd down and about 6.
Well, there's still plenty of time, so there's not any real pressure on the Bills on this 3rd down. I'm pretty sure if they don't get it, they will punt. I was a little surprised they came out and started with a run since they were having so much success throwing the ball at Miami.
You got to hold those linemen at times, so even though the Bills don't even think run, you have to use it every now and then just to make sure that Baumauer and Betters and now Mike Charles for Bocamper stay honest. That's Bowser, drops into the 4-point stance, comes on the rush. Ferguson has a wide open field. He'll get a lot out of it. Hook sliding in midfield and gets the first down near the 48-yard line. And you don't like to see him do it, but he is a gutsy, courageous quarterback, and he'll do it when he has to.
Well, he's fired up now because he didn't waste any time. He was trying to hit a guy named Craig Charles, 27, that was running into the flat that would be on the right side of your screen. He got knocked off his pattern. Joe didn't hesitate. He didn't look for another receiver. He just took off and got the first down.
And on the carpet, just before Glenn Blackwood was leveling him out. First down and 10 again for Buffalo. Booker Moore, the single setback. Almost an eerie silence has settled over the stadium. Ferguson had it in there. Byron Franklin could not handle it. It'll bring up second down and 10.
Well, Ferguson is doing a little twirl with his finger. He's trying to tell Franklin when he hooks up to stop. But Franklin did. He did a little button hook, and he kept moving, and Franklin is now shaking his head and said, "You're right, Joe. I'll do it the next time."
Looking ahead, the timeout situation. The Bills have 3 remaining. They hurt themselves severely in the first half when they wasted 3 timeouts. The Dolphins, on the other hand, they wasted 1 in this half. They have 2. Second and 10. Ferguson now 22 at 36. He's 249 yards for the night and a touchdown.
Throw it to the end zone.
Flag is down. You saw the movement. Booker Moore. That'll stop the clock at 5:31 remaining in the game as Booker Moore is taken out of bounds by Don McNeil, but the flag is down.
Well, I guess it's not fair to say, Joe, throw it to the end zone because he may not have seen it.
Indication by the Bills it will go against Miami. Bills staying alive, and they hurt themselves so many times in that first half.
Defense, number 71 offside. Second down.
Well, that's Charles, and he's lined up right next to the center, so it'd be tough to miss him.
I'll tell you, he is enormous. He goes about 290 out of Syracuse. He's only 21 years old. Won't be 22 until next Sunday. But he has shown great potential. He is in the game because Kim Bocamper had to leave with a jammed neck. Second down and 5. Greg Bell in the lineup, the rookie from Notre Dame, number 28. And Ferguson pulling away, and Will Grant, the center, did not deliver. And now, let's see what happens.
Turnabout's fair play. 5 yards the other way.
Not so sure. The Bills seem to think it was, well, they will work against Buffalo, the procedure call.
False start on the offensive quarterback.
Well,
second down.
I think he could have forgot the snap number. It does happen occasionally.
Yeah, he raised his finger up like it's my fault.
Looks to the sidelines, gets the play, signaled in. Kay Stevenson, the former quarterback himself. Quarterback a few games here at Buffalo, went out with the San Diego Chargers. Spent a little time out there and went into the assistant ranks. We're going to watch it from the end zone because we know that Ferguson's going to put it up from the shotgun. Blitz is on. Ferguson just had to throw that away. Good coverage by Judson on Julius Dawkins. William Judson all over Dawkins. Ferguson had to get rid of it. It'll be third down and 10. 5:24 remaining in the game.
But Joe had a little problem on that play. Doug Better's got a little penetration, and he's 6'7", and he tried to throw over him, and thus threw the ball over the receiver.
Good move by Judson. He played it so well. He handled him for the 5 yards that he's allowed, kept his body in front of him so he could maintain contact, and then he was right with him. Ferguson had to get rid of it. He was under pressure. 47-yard line is third down and 10, and I think the Bills are probably thinking they have 2 downs now.
It's a little early for that. Oh, no.
The ball is loose and Miami covers. And out of frustration, a pair of Bills pile into the Dolphin, who made the recovery. Byron Franklin coughed it up. And now, Don McNeil gets off the deck. He has the football, and Miami gets it back. 5:16 remaining.
Well, it was a case of Franklin realizing he was not at the first down mark, and he was fighting for that extra yardage, and the Dolphins did an excellent job of stripping him of the ball. Broke the tackle, put it away.
This strip by Kozlowski. That's a couple of big plays that Kozlowski has pulled off tonight for Miami.
Now, this is when Miami would kill us during the 70s. Close games at the end of the game, they'd put a drive on us on the ground, eat up the clock.
Woody Bennett.
And they've gotten started the right way.
I'll tell you, you could hear that all the way up here. Bills, hurting as they are with a lot of youngsters, they have played a very high-intensity game tonight. That is Don Shula as he saw the fumble by Franklin. And McNeil covering it. Love that guy. He still cares so much about this game. He cares about the players involved. He handles them like men, the way they should be handled. They know exactly what's expected of them. They also know that if they don't perform, they're going to be performing somewhere else.
That's why he's the most popular coach in the league. I think every player in the league would like to play for him.
2nd down and 6. Marino. Jensen picking up the first down inside Bills territory at the 49-yard line. So Jensen, who works out during the week as a quarterback, a wide receiver, a tight end, works on the special teams. He also takes a lot of snaps as the long snapper. He really is becoming kind of a sort of a cult hero down in the Miami area. Crowd now quieted as Miami collects the first down. 4:28 remaining in the game. Marino appears to be changing off. And the Bills going for the football. Bennett holds on, gets close to the 45-yard line. A gain of about 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. I want to remind you, tonight on Nightline, is there any hope for American steel workers as their industry moves out of the country? A look at that very pressing issue tonight following your late local news. And on the West Coast, stay tuned for Call to Glory. Steve Tisch got himself a winner there. 2nd down and 7. Tony Nathan, single setback. Quick snap, that arm, so fast. Marino gets it to Nat Moore, and Nat Moore will have another first down. 14-yard pickup. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves. So the Miami Dolphins trying to hold on with 3:20 and the clock moving here at Buffalo, lead 21-17. Next Sunday, this coming Sunday, they'll be back in the Orange Bowl for the Colts. Dolphins, of course, trying to get their own stadium built. Interesting project that Joe Robbie, the owner of the Dolphins, has going on down there. 100% privately financed, a stadium in northern Dade County that will seat 73,000. There is Woody Bennett. A gain of about 3, 2nd and 7. I talked to Mr. Robbie a little earlier, and he said they are about 44% financed at the moment.
Well, I don't think there's a coach in football that can work the clock better than Don Shula when he needs to score or when he's trying to protect the score and move down the field. And in this case, not only are they moving the ball down the field if they do score, even if it's a field goal, the Buffalo Bills are going to be really pressed for time to try to get it in the end zone to try to tie this game up.
They're conserving their timeouts. The Bills still have 3. 2nd down and 7. The Dolphins elect to keep it on the ground. Bills in there trying to strip the ball from Woody Bennett.
The Bills are trying to hold them to a field goal. If they get a field goal, it'll be 24 points, and the Bills can score a touchdown and tie it up.
It'll bring up 3rd down. And now I think we'll probably have a timeout. I'd expect that the Bills would use one before the 2-minute warning. Then they could take advantage of that 2 minutes. The Dolphins having to run off the play. that will only use 5 seconds, and that's what they've done.
Big play coming up, 3rd and about 6. The Bills can hold them. Dolphins, I'm sure, would try a field goal. And it's a Dolphin timeout. I'm a little surprised at that.
That is surprising because you would expect the Bills trying to work with that 2-minute clock. I guess Marino wants to make very sure they are leading 21-17, considering the option. That's Don Strock on the left. He is sort of the fireball relief man. He has come on in so many games. He signed a series of 1-year contracts a year ago. But I'll tell you, when you have a great quarterback and potentially even greater Dan Marino out there, you feel awfully good about looking over and seeing the old veteran Don Strock, 11 years now, and he's come off that bench so many times and provided winners. He did it last year when Marino went down with the knee. He came on and won a couple of games.
And as you can see, that's Marino's personal high for completions. You know, it's an interesting thing about Don Shula, Frank, that he's able to have that first-rate second-team quarterback, and he keeps them happy. Those guys are all happy to be sitting
He wasn't so happy last year. He didn't report till about 1st of September. He was considering all kinds of prospects. But you're right. When he comes off the bench, he comes off smiling and winning. Bills and the Dolphins now with 2 timeouts. Marino, Nat Moore. And Nat Moore will have another first down. Well, that would almost burst the Cowboy into song. Nat Moore gets another first down for Miami. He's at the 20-yard line. We'll be back with 1:59 remaining in the game. Looking forward to that when the Raiders and the Chargers a week from tonight.
I don't have to go far for that one.
1:59 remaining in the game. Marino now on the night, 26 of 35, 296 yards, 3 touchdowns. He has the 1 interception. Mark Duper in motion. Woody Bennett. He'll work on the clock for you. Case Stevenson wants the Bills to use one of their timeouts. They have 1 remaining now. Don Shula looks as though he will win his 229th career game tonight. It's more this season. We're going to see him against the Jets and then Dallas on our final Monday night telecast of the season. 151, Woody Bennett hammering for yardage, and he's close to another first down near the 12-yard line.
Well, that's one thing about them. They run the ball when they have to.
That will be the final timeout for Buffalo.
I guess we got to look at both these teams. You're looking at a Miami team that certainly should be favored to win the AFC East, but a team that if they're going to go much farther than that, they're going to have to shore up this pass defense, and they're going to have to get a pass rush. They were successful at times tonight, but only when they blitzed. We're looking at a Buffalo team that certainly has a lot of problems.
And I'm not altogether sure that Don Shula wasn't being a little tongue-in-cheek with me. If you were with us at the beginning of the telecast, I asked him who they were looking at to bring in as a running back, and said they're looking all over the league. And I know he met throughout the day with Charlie Winter, their personnel director, and sniffing around who might be available, free agents and all of that. And of course, good running backs are hard to find, and the ones that are good are this time of the year certainly well employed. But had a little smile, a little twinkle, so I think we might see a little movement in the next few days.
I was a little surprised. I thought when they traded for Muncie, they felt that Muncie had a problem, and I thought he was going to work with that problem. I'm a little surprised that he was caught unaware that Muncie may currently have that problem and sent him back. I thought he felt that would be the case, and they were going to work with it.
As we mentioned earlier, Muncie was directed by the league to report to a rehabilitation facility, and if he does not do so and does not undergo whatever treatment is prescribed, he will be suspended indefinitely. That's Nathan over the left side. Nathan will have another first down. And 1:35, and the clock will continue to move.
I don't think that's their only problem. A back, obviously, Muncie would have helped, and any top back would help this team. But once again, I don't think they have a slightly bigger offensive line, especially with Roy Foster in there. And the problem is when he gets that position block inside, which is what this team likes to do, just like Chuck Knox, I mean, just like the Pittsburgh Steelers, his body isn't still in the hole. You know, he's so big that rump is in the hole, and I think that may be hurting their inside running game a little bit.
Miami well aware Buffalo can't stop the clock. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Bruna Arledge. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football produced by Bob Goodrich, directed by Chet Forte. Technical director Joe Shavio. Halftime producer Peter Lasser. Halftime director John DeLisa. Halftime technical director Jay Gleason. Our associate director Kim Belton. Halftime associate director Earl Fryman. Technical manager Rick Mikulski. Unit manager Irma Norris. Always love to be with Irma. Telecommunications manager Bob Byers. Assistants to the producer Tony Tortorisi and Charlie Wiseman.
Remind all fans leaving the parking areas to buckle up before you leave. Seatbelts save lives.
This will do it. And Miami will be 3-0 on the year. Buffalo will be 0-3 with a long road ahead of them. And Don Shula has tied Tom Landry in regular season victories. And only ahead of Landry and Shula are Papa Bear and Curly Lambeau. Marino congratulating some of the Bills. They get to know each other so well. And a quick congratulations, Don Shula to Kay Stevenson. We'll see a little later in the season. And we'll be back with it. Once again, Miami has defeated Buffalo 21-17. Remember to stay tuned for ABC News Nightline immediately following your late local news. And for those of you on the West Coast, stay tuned for Call to Glory. This ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Bud Light. The best has a taste all its own, satisfying but never filling. So ask for Bud Light. By Nissan, high mileage, high quality cars and trucks for 50 years, available at your Datsun dealer. And by the people at AT&T Communications. We're thinking about your business in ways you never thought of. And by Federal Express Zap Mail. It's absolutely, positively incredible. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies to Hong Kong for more top business centers with 3-class Royal Pacific service. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. We'll see you a week from tonight from Los Angeles with the Chargers.